Ladies and gentlemen of Twitch chat, how the devil are you this fine Saturday evening in May? You are here for nothing less than a wild evening of entertainment. It is, of course, the May Nova Cup. And joining me to cast today, we have the beautiful, the intelligent Kidius K the Third. Welcome to the stream. Awesome, awesome. So for our first match today, Kid, we have some pretty exciting players because they're all brand new players, I think, to the Nova Cup. Or at least I don't remember casting any of these guys in the past, though I am also very old, so my memory of something that happened more than 2 minutes ago is foggy at best already. But we're going to be watching pre-round workout, which is Turnixius and Wackle, and they are playing up against For the Don Daniel, which is Sagittarius and So Close to Win. So a bit spicy there with some brand new faces, keeping the Nova Cup looking fresh. And how do you feel about this matchup? Do you know the players very well? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm looking at my volume levels and it looks like you're very quiet, but I can hear you perfectly. So I'm hoping it works okay for the stream, but I just don't know. Just don't know. In 5 minutes, we'll find out. Yeah. And then we'll be mid-game, and I'll have to try and fix things on the fly. So to Nixius and Wackle, I'm very certain have quite a starvy play style. Turnixius for sure, maybe Wackle a little bit less. So I definitely expect to see some big saves in the early game, some mimics, some ogres on 7, that kind of thing. Maybe some siege rams on 10, keeping things a little bit spicy. Whereas Sagittarius and So Close, um, like you, I'm less familiar with So Close to Win. Sagittarius has been playing very well actually this season. He's been playing like a little bit of a beast, at least for the last couple of months. I know he's lost a bit of elo lately. He's been streaming. He's plummeted. You know the story. It's tale as old as time. Hmm. Okay. Wow. Could be a bit of a spoiler. Yeah. Oh man, I'm nervous because I'm looking over at my Streamlabs and it looks like my speakers are barely moving. I think I might have to take the earphones out.
Oh, well, I
All
apologize.
right, that
I
might
mean,
be
I'm
better.
I'm looking if maybe it's me over here or what's going on.
No, the volume levels are now turbo loud, so I think it was to do with having the earphones in.
All right.
Now it's
Hopefully,
now
hopefully
you might be
everything else is
far too
good.
loud, in fact. So let me try. I'm just preempting,
So I
I'm getting in there early before we get all of the volume complaints. Okay,
think we'll be chilling.
hopefully. But yeah, so I'm certainly expecting quite a starved early game, at least from Turnixius and Wackle. Sagittarius, I'm pretty sure, is capable of withstanding a starve, outscaling, coming back in the late game, that sort of thing. So close, I mean, again, he's a bit of an unknown to me. I don't really recall playing against him on the ladder myself. But he's been practicing together with Sagittarius. Sagittarius is, as aforementioned, a beast. So we'll have to see. We'll see how things pan out.
Yeah.
But maybe they're just going to get wackled.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of curious. So Close to Win seems to be a bit of a Star Lord and a bit of a cartel abuser, if you
Hmm.
will.
Yeah.
So I expect we'll see some of those kind of massive power mercenaries on wave 7 and 8, kind of the ogres, the GKs of the world. Maybe just the triple brute hit squad, if you will.
Hmm.
But it really, it's hard to guesstimate until we see the rolls here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it
Oh, here we go.
should
Look,
be
here come the Kid K volume comments. Awesome. I'm glad I preempted them instead of waiting.
lovely, lovely.
Do we
Man.
have a lobby open for these guys yet? I guess not yet, right? No, it doesn't look like it.
I am not seeing one. I think this is all of their first Novas, so they may not know that they have to create the game.
Yeah. So one of them needs to know to create the lobby, right? Which is a bit of an issue.
Yeah,
How's your day going so far, Kidius? I'm guessing it's still quite
it's
early there for you.
it's good. Yeah, it's we're approaching 10 a.m. for me. Um, so that's I woke up 4 hours ago, had
Hmm.
a little run, little jaunt in the park, and excited to cash in on some video game action.
Nice.
The girlfriend she's going out of town today, so
Oh, so you're
said
free.
my goodbyes, and
Hmm.
yeah, that's
Oh, well,
why when you messaged me like, hey, do you want to kind of hop on here?
yeah.
I said yes, absolutely, sign me up.
And does your
Nothing more that I
girlfriend
want.
approve of the other man in your life, or?
She actually doesn't know about you
Oh,
yet.
a dirty little
Um,
secret.
yeah, little sneaky link, I think is as the kids say. Um, but she will after this. So,
Amazing. Amazing. I'm sure she's very,
and
very
how are you?
excited to see her man on the stream. She is.
Oh,
She's watching, right?
I'm sure she's stoked.
She's definitely watching.
Yeah, she actually texted me and she said, "I can't hear you on the stream." So,
Yeah. Technical issues, guys. Technical issues. What can you do?
yeah, shout out. Um, I am still not seeing a game for them. I will
Same here.
message.
I can create it myself and then invite
I'll
some
message
players.
her next year. Have you guys created a game yet?
All right. I have invited some people.
Well, wonderful. A proactive approach.
Proactive approach, yeah. Not just a pretty face over here. Is it so close to win? Just all one word.
Yes,
Okay,
all one word.
got him. We have a
And
lobby,
then,
ladies and gentlemen. This
yep,
Nova Cup
make
is
sure we,
about to get on
we
the
check
road.
that tournament.
Kid K sound quality probably worse than mine, says Green Spirit.
Oh,
But at
lovely.
least he can
That's
hear you
the
now.
air.
At least he can hear you.
Yeah, the AirPods coming in. Oh, surely I'll have a PC soon.
Surely. What happened to your PC, by the way? Did it not arrive at the end of March?
Yeah, life got in the way,
Hmm.
and I think life will find a way.
I think
So,
life is supposed to find a way, yeah, but so far for you,
yeah,
it findn't.
it
It
findent.
findn't.
It pushing and finding, and well, maybe fine will be in this next cast here, but
Oh, I have to
oh man,
I have to be the one to start the lobby because I have created it. So it looks like the
oh,
players are
how
ready,
exciting!
guys, which means we can get this May Nova Cup first game on the way. Kid, are you excited? I know that I am very, very excited.
I'm pumped. I'm gonna bring some higher energy here.
All
uh,
right, guys, here it is. Your first game of the May Nova Cup is about to begin. We have the pre-round workout on the left versus For the Don Daniel on the right. Game number one, let's go.
ooh, Mega Minded agreed. We have really soft, Legion spells here.
Hmm.
So would love to see a double castle maybe. Ooh, okay. Cartel Greed versus Castle Cash Out.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, just kind of looking at these roles already, I would say there's a large advantage to both Ternixius and Wackel. Um, some pretty clear build paths. You have Nightmare Butcher and the Flying Archer Menace
Hmm.
on the Cash Out
Yeah,
player.
that's an
So
absolute juicer,
that's
actually. Yeah.
definitely yeah, a lane to watch. Um, Sagittarius has pretty impressive gun roll. Um, Curious to see how I'll play around that. The new gun is very good, and Glacial is not the best for gun because generally
Oh, I
you're
think
kind of
Glacial is terrible for
struggle against
gun.
the
It's like a
ram.
anti-synergy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because you kind of struggle versus a ram or anything of that
Yeah.
nature. So
Oh,
look at
look
the
at
opposite. And
this.
Wako actually opted to not take the good unit here.
Interesting choice there, Wackle.
Yeah,
He has the Trinity Archer with Tempest and chooses not to pick it. Okay, cool. I'm sure he's got
yeah,
a plan, guys. Don't worry.
yeah.
He's
I
also
would say
opting to add
Ternixius is.
the Bone Warrior here to his Windhawk. So, I mean, you wouldn't want to leak now, would you?
Probably not. I'm not sure with Nightmare how the gold works out. It could be beneficial actually with the Mega Mines. That 2 extra gold from the Windhawk leaking 17% on wave one could
Oh,
actually be the difference between being stuck 4 and 5 workers.
oh
But
no, he's Castle. There's no way he gets to 5 workers.
oh, he is Castle. Yeah,
Yeah.
good shout.
All right. Okay.
Um, yeah.
Meanwhile, we have both of the Russian
I,
players, Sagittarius and Soclose, starting with their Gatling guns. In fact, they have almost identical rolls over here. We've got the Infiltrator
yeah,
Gatling gun antler pairings over there with a couple of middle units to spice things up. But their rolls are looking pretty fine. I wouldn't say anything outstanding on that side, though. Like the Gun Infiltrator, I really like as an early pairing. But they don't have anything massively stand out. Whereas obviously Nightmare Butcher for Ternix and Trinity Archer Tempest for Wackle, very, very strong rolls. Oh, but wait, he didn't pick it.
oh yeah, very curious the lack of an archer there.
Yeah.
Um, one thing to note actually is that Sagittarius received a king up there, but is unable to push to his sixth worker um, because he really desires an infiltrator instead of 2 buzzes.
That's reasonable. Like I think if you have a tiny bit more gold, then you just push the sixth worker and add a slime, but he's 5 gold short, right?
Yeah,
So I
uh,
can
I
understand that.
don't. I personally I would have gone for the double buzz there, but
Well,
I don't
Gun
know.
is
I'm just a,
significantly weaker since the latest patch. I don't know if you know this, but it now like 4 shots wave 3 instead of 3 shotting it. So it's a
I
it's a
did, yeah,
33% DPS nerf. It's pretty significant.
yeah,
But he would have held a king up, I guess.
yeah. Very interestingly, both Ternixius and Wackel are opting to stay 5 workers after getting sent on wave 3 here.
Yeah.
A bit of a bailout from Sagittarius sending 40 again here, but
That's
definitely would say there's a strong advantage to the Eastern team.
yeah. I mean that surprises me. Like Ternixius and Wackle staying 5 workers here. I don't know. That does surprise me very much. I'm
They're
sure.
normally so fast and aggressive.
Yeah. If Green Spirit was here, he would be shocked. I tell you, shocked.
Dismayed. Waka does receive 60 here, so he gets kind of bailed out. You know, the Tempest
Yeah.
notably weaker in wave 4.
He's getting turbo rewarded
although-
actually for being like so overbuilt here. Getting the triple snail
Yeah.
with the post income one as well.
Yeah.
Like the pre income, okay, it's fine. You're outscaling someone who's overbuilding. The post income is just 6 more gold for Wackle though.
Yeah. One thing to actually note is that sending snails on wave 4 is quite bad because then the Tempest can use their abilities
Oh, true.
on the snails.
True. Yeah.
So it's not quite the optimal gameplay I would have hoped for there, but
Would you
it's all
perhaps
good.
describe the game
Ternixius,
thus far as a comedy of errors?
there's definitely been a few errors. You know, I don't want to be too negative to these guys, but I think they're trying their best. I think,
They are.
but we'll see. One thing to note here is Ternixius will collect kind of this brute bounty quite easily. He's got the Steed Pilgrim combo
Yeah,
on wave
he's
5.
like invincible on this wave,
Quite
and his
powerful.
Treant is like fully stacked as well.
Yeah, although he did managed to somehow only take the boss with the Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Um,
He's still like turbo chilling though, right? Yeah. I mean, he has
yeah, he's super
515
fine.
value. I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, 515 value of very powerful units.
Uh,
So he should be pretty stoked with his spot now. Kind of even workers on the castle start with good synergy heading into wave 6 here.
yeah, but if you take a
Um,
quick peek at those income figures, for the Don are already pulling ahead quite decently. They're 60 income on both versus 40 on both for Wokkel and Ternixtius, and that gap is only going to continue to grow, right? So that early worker lead, it does snowball. It does,
mhm.
the more you push, the more income you make, the more you can push. Especially when all players are
Yeah,
effectively just trying the income king line. Like if everybody is
yeah,
income kinging, then the team which pushes the most is obviously going to have a better time of things.
yeah. One thing that I do want to note here is Wackel actually he had 172 gold, could have sold his Bone Warrior, and instead built two more Windhawks. So he's really leaning into being weak on wave 8.
Yeah,
Gonna have to see if that gets punished or not, but it looks like both So Close to Win and Sagittarius just kind of recognizing a bit of the overbuilt nature of both players and just gonna income king.
I actually don't hate it. Like they have had higher workers on pretty much every wave of the game so far, so I think just playing to outscale is perfectly fine. Um, but what I would like to see is them then saving post income. So like Sagittarius, just don't spend your 30 Mythium here, and then you can spam some DTs on wave 8.
Yeah, and he does get Ascend here, so he's going to be able to push quite a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, Gun on its own can basically solo half of wave 8.
Mm-hmm.
Very strong unit there, so also kind of effectively diminishing the threat on wave 9. You know, Gun is a notable weak unit there, as are both Infiltrators and the Stees that you see in So Close to Wind's lane. So a lot of bad value. The ability to kind of pressure on wave 8 and prevent a wave 9 save will be pretty crucial.
Oh.
Although I wouldn't be surprised to see them still save. We do see
We see the
a
first
10%
leak
leak
of the
here.
game, I think, here on wave 7. It's 5 little
Yeah,
blobs.
very. I mean, this is beneficial for them because, as I was saying, you know, it lets them kind of push into the
Yeah.
Ternegasius too, kind of
Wow.
destroyed by the
I was
40
wondering
things here.
actually if my UI was bugged because it says that Ternixtius has minus 80 recommended value. It's kind of wild.
He's actually they skip here, so they are going to go ahead and try and pressure that
I
wave
I don't like this
a
though from
9.
Sagittarius. This seems like a blunder here because if we look at Wokkel's lane, like sure he's on pretty much he's on value, right? But he's so weak against dragon turtles. Like the Tempest
Yeah,
Leviathans, their passive doesn't work. They don't attack flying units. So if you send a dragon turtle, they effectively do 50% DPS. And
exactly.
with a Dino Snail, they
Got
kill the snail instantly, they're straight on the wave, and they're dealing a ton of damage against those Cobras.
Yeah, precisely. And they also bail them out by not sending their full Mythium here. So
Yeah.
Pernicious, I think, will leak about half the wave, even despite not getting full sent. But
Impressive.
Waffle should be fine, and they just kind of get bailed out here. You know, I really
Yeah.
hate this play.
I mean, this was 100 Mythium send, and he had, what, another 40 maybe post income? I just think if that's 3
Yeah,
Dragon Turtles, then Wackle's leaking as well. And this is going to be some decent
yeah,
king damage here on wave 8. They still get some king damage, so it's not a complete
yeah,
disaster, but, they would have liked a bit more, and now they're receiving a full send from pre-round workout, and these are some pretty spicy sends. We've got a triple brute there from Ternixtius, we've got a quintuple robo there from Wackle. If we have a quick
yeah.
look at the lanes over here, So Close is going for a Hades, which is not bad. I think I would have preferred Final Form Oathbreaker though. Like, have you seen that unit on Wave 9? It's kind of illegal.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I was going to mention that. I think that the Robos are really good into exactly what Sokos did, but you should have assumed that it had to be an ogre here because it should have been
A
a
Final
final
Form.
form Oathbreaker. So
Yeah, yeah.
let's see how they're doing. The Slime Siren does get her full triple value, but the Robo army doing quite well.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't he just hold? Isn't the Lord of Death enough? No, okay, never mind, never mind.
No, no,
He's going to leak all of the
that is it.
Robos, I guess. Sagittarius, he leaks
Yeah,
47%. Meanwhile, though, Turnix does leak 38% just against a Cannoneer there. And yeah,
yeah.
all 6
But
of those Roberts make it through to the King. So we are going to get a decent chunk of King damage here on the side of For the Don Daniel, which, by the way, is quite a mouthful of a team name to read out every time. They're dropping now
very
down
true.
to
So
80.
Ternixius and Wackel both netted about 50 gold each from
Mhm.
those leaks.
Thank you, Bert.
Probably not worth it overall.
I mean, if you look at the power scores, it certainly doesn't look worth it, right? We have So Close and Sagittarius both on fire here. Worth pointing out, of course, So Close is playing Cartel, Turnix is on Castle, so we will get that old switcheroo on wave 11 where the incomes flip over there, but their lead is really solid at this point.
Would love to see Ternixius full send his brute here.
He
He goes for a Robo instead.
Okay, still a full send though.
Yeah, so this should ideally be a leak. Obviously, Sagittarius will be able to kind of click that.
Full mana, so that's a little bit of value lost there. Yeah, it does look like it's going to be a bit of a leak. Oh, did you see that turnaround there from the slime?
Yeah, those stutter steps. So plus 25 in the bank.
Okay.
And
I mean, you definitely take that if you're on the side of pre-round workout, right? 25 gold shutdown, the wave before your castle power spike kicks in, before your opponent's cartel penalty kicks in. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's really significant. That's really significant. Like, they were in a really strong spot, and they still are. They still are in a strong spot, especially with Turnix and Wackel resending income here. But Turnix DS now has 100 more income than So Close.
Yeah, and something I do want to point out is Wackel did take this creditor line.
Interesting.
And Ternixius ended up sacrificing to get out his Lost Chieftain here. He sacked one of his steeds. So Ternixius is going to be incredibly powerful in this wave 11 and 12, and then Wackel should be able to kill, at least 70, 80% of anything that he receives on wave 13 using kind of that Phoenix and the gold from his creditor. So I don't hate this line. I do kind of wish that one of them held their Mythium here, and I don't actually think it matters who holds it, but this is going to leak as well.
I mean, we have two AFK guns here. Yeah, his melee unit is way too high there for Sagittarius. This Buzz up at the front, like, I think the consorts where they are fine, but that Buzz just killed him, and that's another 25 gold shutdown here.
Yeah, so kind of abusing this castle power stream differential. But I would love to see Sagittarius and So Close send here. They're sitting on some huge Mythium amounts, and they should be able to count value and know that Wackel didn't sacrifice. Doesn't look like they do.
Yeah, but it's rough to send here on 12 regardless, right? We have the Tree of Life, Head Chef, Doppelganger here for Turnix. We have the Leviathan Circle already showing for Wackel. Like, they're looking real strong on 12. Oh, but Wackel is not shifting any gold here for his creditor. Okay, 10 gold. Sure, we'll give him that. But he cannot afford to be greedy here unless he did just sell the Antler. Wait,
he should be greedy. He should recognize that Ternixius is holding most things.
Okay, especially with absolute beast mode. Stand corrected. A last-minute change of heart there for the Wackler, getting his full creditor value instead of barely any.
Yeah, pretty good. So now it's a pretty easy income king for both Wackel and Ternixius. Curious to see what Sagittarius and So Close to Win determine.
They're saving longer.
Wow, okay.
I mean, Wackel did show the Phoenix, right, on 12, so
yeah.
I can understand that 14 looks pretty enticing. I mean, are they even thinking, like, straight 15? Are they just going ultra cringe mode here?
I don't think they can. This value is so bad on So Close to Win. He's guaranteed to leap on 14 to any income, probably even just a regular base send. I mean, we'll see what happens. By the way,
go ahead.
I do want to point out Wackel's positioning here. That third Bone Warrior is super important versus double 4-eye send.
Pulls both 4-eyes to the right.
Something to note. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that he's a top 10 ladder player right now. It's pretty deserved, I think, if he's playing like that. So
yeah,
very good. So Close to Win did sacrificed into a sovereign, and they are sending here.
Wackle also shifted his creditor again, by the way. You can tell by him having 460 gold here. So he's actually playing like a bit of a beast.
Yeah.
I think Sagittarius and So
Right.
Close are in real danger of getting wackled in this game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Sagittarius is building another Lost Chieftain instead of just tank value. One of the things to note when you're playing these kind of lifesteal doppelganger builds, the only thing that matters is how long your doppelganger can attack for.
Yeah.
So building things like a Lost Chieftain, well, like yes, it does give another 1500 HP to a pretty powerful unit.
Yeah.
It's actually just not the most effective use of gold at all in his build.
Yeah, you could just
Nor
spend
would
the
it have
same
been the
gold
most
on
effective
this
on
upgrade
15.
here, right? And then you're getting way more than 1500 HP.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see how they do here.
Yeah,
I expect
Berserkers are
Voxel
still
to do
massive.
decently. Ogres are not very good into what he has.
Oh yeah, Ogres into the
Yeah.
Phoenix. That's a bit of a yikes. Sagittarius, I feel, is not playing his best game so far. The Phoenix
Yeah.
does go down, and
Waffle ends
Wackle
up
will be
doing...
leaking here, even with his 3000 value on 14. As will Turnixius, and that's a 93% there, but they're currently on 99% King HP, and what's more important, kid, they saved their Mythium here. So Turnix and Wackle, they now have
Exactly.
all of the pressure lead in their favour.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see a straight 17, although that is one of Wackle's weaker waves. Turnixius is just broken there, so really Wackle should be full pushing here. So Close to Win is already a bit undervalued, and while obviously they haven't seen the Mudman yet, and Double Gun is kind of scary to send into on 8 or 17.
Yeah.
It's really just about tank value when you have these incredibly high DPS units like Vulcan Cannon, like Doppelganger.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel
yeah.
like for the Don, they didn't need to go for such a committal line, right? They were absolutely slaughtering their opponents in the early game. And then they just went for this really all-in play. What was it, like a 9 into 14 there? While giving shutdowns on 10, giving shutdowns on 11. And Wackle, I mean, fair play to the guy, because he went for the triple creditor there on 11, 12, and 13 while being saved on. He just really capitalized on that. So fair play to him.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Oh, and they do go 16.
Okay. Well, let's see if
I
that's
think this will work.
let's see if that's a return error or not, because Sagittarius and So Close. I mean, Sagittarius is not looking bad here at all. He has the double gun. He has good tank value as well with the white mane, Sovereign Circle. He has options, especially if he full builds here. He's basically on value with good units. I think he can just hold, actually. So Close, though, he's much lower in value on this side lane 4. Maybe they pop some Cheeky King. Yeah, there we go. Sagittarius with the King spell, So Close to finish it off. I think that's a solid line of play.
Yeah, I don't mind this. It really should have been 17, I think, but...
Both guns are focusing the ram by themselves, though. That's terrible for Sagittarius. It does now go down, but his biggest DPS here on this wave was just wasted for the first 10 seconds of the game.
Wow. The big gun survived? I think they're both just holding.
Wow.
We're very close to it.
So close. That's a 56% leak. Sagittarius, he's going to leak as well. He can't kill the Four Eyes here. That's a 44%, but they don't die here, kid. And now we have another reversal of the pressure situation, right? We have, for the Don Daniel, I mean, you know, they were low workers, so they don't have a massive amount of Mythium in the bank, but still, the pressure lead is back in their favor.
Yeah. I would really love to see Turnixius make a proactive play and force 18. Just suicide for it, because you do have Wackle on Flying Force Phoenix with good tank value as well in his split. Like, that is just something that obviously Sagittarius and So Close to Win don't want to force.
Yeah.
Turnixius actually, for some reason, terrified here at negative 380.
Okay, that's okay. I don't quite get that. Maybe I can see it actually with the Phoenixes, the Leviathans. Like, maybe they're thinking they send here, but just think in the flow of the game, right? Like Sagittarius and So Close would have sent 17 if they hadn't just sent 16 themselves.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd decision.
Yeah, and So Close pings it
I
out
think
already.
it's just
So they're aware of the
yeah.
Harden, and I'm pretty sure that means it'll be a Wave 18 send now from Sagittarius. Yeah, here we go. There's a Shaman coming out from So Close. And a Kraken from Sagittarius. What do you think, kid? Is this going to be...
I don't think it's enough. I think that Waffle is just full holding this,
Yeah, I mean,
particularly when they're sending as well.
he's very strong. But yeah, you're right. Turnix and Wackle, they send here as well. Very small send, actually, from pretty much all 4 players. There's not a massive amount of work being pushed in this game. So we have Four Eyes Double Brute from Turnix, we have a Needler and a Robert from Wackle, we have Kraken Mole coming out from Sagittarius, and the biggest send, actually, is the Needler Shaman coming out from So Close.
Well, Wackle is very strangely opting to not build this third Phoenix. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. He's really debating if he wants the white main on 4 Bone Warriors or not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would be really tanky.
Yeah. I will say that Phoenix is not quite the end-all be-all that it used to be on Wave 18 since the removal of the AoE. So a bit curious to see how it'll do, but
yeah, let's keep
here we
eyes
go.
on these, because this is a massive send here for Turnix Theus. That is an 840 Mythium into his lane. Wackle with the 620. His Phoenix here is just a dream. That thing tanked to the left side, stayed alive, still doing all of that damage against the wave. I think it might eventually go down, but no. Oh, wait, no, that's just a really easy hold there from Wackle. Turnix, 117% leak. And So Close, he's leaking massive there as well, 86%, but we do have a hold from Sagittarius as well, so that's clutch. It does keep For the Dawn in the game. But Wackle, I mean, he made this look easy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Wackle is pushing here, and he definitely should not be.
Yeah, because he's sending
their line is for so close to, yeah. So very curious. I mean, maybe they're all recognizing that a resend also wins the game, and that's why they're pushing.
Nope. Nope.
All right, I will be positive about the players in this game.
I actually can see it, and I'll tell you for why, KDSK. Because if we look at these lanes, Wackle has nothing to hold Wave 20. Like, he is the biggest player in this game, but his role sucks on Wave 20. Like, he just doesn't have an option, right? Okay, sure, he can buff a Bone Warrior. I stand corrected. Meanwhile, though, Turnix Theus, he has Chieftains with Green Devil, and he's not going to hold either, I don't think. But he can stall for a really long time with Hardened Mudmen, with Chieftain buff Green Devil, and maybe they think they can just win the race there on 20. I actually don't hate the line.
Yeah, I just think that when Wave 20 comes, the only thing that matters in general, and particularly at these value levels, and these players are at the skill level where they should be able to recognize this as well, is just stalling ability.
Yeah.
So it almost always, in a Wave 20 game, in a tournament game, should be determined by who suicides into whom.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's no suicide and instead just all 4 players are not going to hold and just kind of send Mythium is kind of disappointing to me.
Yeah, actually, the heavy push coming out from, it's relative, but the heavy push coming out from Wackle and the heavy push coming out from Sagittarius massively favours the side of pre-round workout, right? Because the staller on this side is Turnix Theus, and the staller on this side is So Close to win. But Wackle has way more workers than So Close does. So if it comes down to it, things might just go in favour of pre-round workout. But I think either way, the game is going to end here on Wave 20.
Almost certainly. I will say So Close to win. This Hades plus Speed combo on Wave 20 is occasionally fantastically powerful. I'm not sure if it will be at only 7,000 value.
This Sovereign is going to get full mana very, very quickly as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that thing pop off and maybe even sniping the Shaman here.
That would be quite.
I don't think it's probably not enough damage, right? It is attacking a Swift.
Yeah,
It's not even remotely close. Okay, never mind. I take it back.
no, no.
Meanwhile, we have Sagittarius leaking very quickly. But so does Wackle.
Aqua's
Oh,
turn.
here we go. Turnix Theus. So close, and Turnix Theus leaking almost
Oh,
identically there, but
gonna be
very
a full
slightly in
race.
favour of this side, and they have way more HP on the left. So it is a win for the pre-round workout.
Very close, very close.
Very close. It was really close. It was really close. And actually, I think Wackle was right there to press the worker button, because I guess it wouldn't have gone in their favour if he hadn't, right? So,
No, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying is that either, on these wave 20 race scenarios, either you push the worker button after wave 18 or you don't. Like, Ternixius should have not pushed the worker button at all.
yeah.
So Close to Win actually did take the correct line and not pushing the worker button at all.
Yeah.
So these, these kind of macro decisions are more what I'm discussing.
Yeah. I do think I think Wackle deserved this one. I'm going to call him out as the MVP of this match, because specifically because of the way that he piloted that wave 11, 12, 13 with Creditor. So we saw him get the full value on 11, and remember, he hasn't been sent since wave 9, right? So he's feeling a little bit of pressure. Full value on 11, full value on 12, full value on 13, and then he's just big enough on 14, right? Like, he still leaks, but it's 3 creeps and an ogre. Like, he's absolutely fine to leak something like that while saving his Mythium, because crucially, Turnix and Wackle didn't go for an income king line, and that is what gave them the pressure on 16 to get a ton of damage done, keep Sagittarius and So Close really low workers, and then he did make the right call there on 18 to push really hard, leak So Close fast enough there on 20, and very, very narrowly winning that king race here on wave 20. So fair play. I think Wackle piloted that one very nicely, and Sagittarius and So Close certainly can feel like they've been wackled here today.
Get Wackled, my friend.
Yeah, wackled, my friend. Indeed, indeed. So, Kid, what do you think for the side of For the Dawn? What do they need to do here in game number 2 to try and turn these things around? Like, are there any aspects of their game that you think they should be focusing on the most? What do you think their weakness was in that game 1?
Yeah, I think they made some mistakes on that wave 8 in particular, not full sending. I mean, Ternixius full leaking to just the 100 in income is maybe something that you should take note of. Just kind of identifying what waves do I have to pressure, particularly when you're opening double gun or and when you're opening 2 of the same unit, you should be aware of what is that unit's weak wave from waves 1 to 10. Like,
Yeah.
So very, very curious behavior there. I also think that kind of in that 9 to 14 scenario, maybe recognize your worker advantage and just send 11. It's okay to cede pressure sometimes if you're in a dominant position instead of kind of pigeonholing yourself into this line of 9 to 14.
I definitely agree. And actually, that game turned out to be pretty much the exact opposite of what I was talking about in the pre-game, with Wackle and Turnix going very heavy income. Pretty much the whole game, actually. Like, obviously, they did some saving there towards the end, but the first 10 waves, they were sending snails and king ups every wave, and on 11, they went for the income king line as well, and clearly it proved to be effective here. But I definitely think that Sagittarius and So Close had this one in the early game, and then they just went for this just really committal, what was it, like a wave 9 to 14 send, that they didn't need to, because they were in a good spot already on wave 9. Like, if they just take their income, do a couple of king upgrades, whatever, one, they're not going to be feeding shutdowns on wave 10 and 11, and that, they already have the worker advantage, they already have the income advantage. Why are you going to put yourself in that situation where you're just going to get outscaled here by Turnix and Wackle? It baffles me a little bit, Kid.
Yeah, definitely a strange decision. Particularly, like, I think maybe some folks are unaware of what triggers shutdowns, but if you see that you're on shutdown on wave, 8, 9, 10, you should be aware that that is an indicator of your worker advantage, your overall gold value advantage, and you should feel comfortable kind of pressing your advantage like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a very, very reasonable take. But kid, enough caster padding, because game number 2 is here. So will For the Dawn turn their tides around, or a pre-round workout going to 2-0 this matchup? Let's find out. Game number 2.
Castle picked again by Turnixius.
Well, that was a
Castle
Megamind last
Cartel.
game. That was a Megamind last game,
Yeah.
so they're absolutely fine. They had Megamind and Cash Out, so those options are gone. But yeah, he clearly enjoyed the castle so much in game 1 that he wants to play it again here, so he's picked it. And we have the Cartel pickup from Wackle. Sagittarius is taking the Cartel as well. I think it was So Close who had that last game, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Hmm.
Sagittarius opted to play Greed last game.
Yeah.
They did switch up the send order this game as well.
They did. They did. So Sagittarius is thinking that he wants to send into turn Ixthias, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think about the role? Sagittarius's role, I don't like it, kid.
Yeah, I think double tier 1 into double tier 6 or a Tempest is kind of your bridger is a really difficult role to play.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has the cartel gold to kind of play around, but that's going to be tricky. Um, So Close to Win. I don't fully remember what he was looking at, but he's definitely lacking on the tank front to try to play Disciples and Halos. I think Wackle has the best role by far. Just a very
Disciple
clear
Ball.
1 to 6 game plan.
Yeah.
Disciple Boar to shore up his weaknesses. Probably would have preferred that he didn't take the slime when you're already rocking with the Peewee, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be fine. Phoenixius opting to play the Sakura Castle line. I think it's probably fine if he knows how to like kind of manage his resources effectively here. It's great news that he is sending into So Close to Win on the cash out
Yeah.
Pyro Ellie.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
should
Because
feel comfortable just going straight to 7 workers, but we'll
absolutely,
see.
absolutely. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't at least go to 6. But 7, I think, is absolutely feasible here. And what I wanted to say is that Sagittarius was doing the fake Fiesta with the Tempest loot to start there on wave 1, and he does get rewarded with a post-income snail here from Wackle on 2. So obviously a very easy hold because he's not playing Fiesta, and now he just has a free 6 gold, and importantly,
Yeah.
no pressure.
Yeah, I think that's pretty decent. Obviously, pressure on 3 is not your main concern if you're building 2 Tempests. Pressure on 4 is generally your main concern, so
Sure.
I'm not certain that I love that start, but I understand it. And So Close to Win is not going 7 workers.
No, that's a bit of a shame, actually. He is. I mean, what? He's adding 15 value for fun, or what? Or maybe he just is playing to hold on wave 4 where his teammate's looking a bit weak. Maybe that's the line.
Yeah. Very interesting positioning by Chernixtius. Obviously, he's aware that Sagittarius can't 40 him again after having sent him 20, or at the very least, it would be after income. But this positioning is going to lead to any DTs on 4, and it's much weaker actually on wave 6 as well, unless he does adjust that split again. So definitely something to watch out for.
We do have a DT here on 4 from Sagittarius, but I mean, Turnix is building, so he is going to be very, very fine, I think. Yeah, indeed.
Operating at the plus 40 value. And obviously, False Maiden is one of those units on wave 4 that just kind of invalidates all of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I do want to point out the push-pull situation going on here between Wackle and So Close, though, because Wackle, he's really committed now with his AoE. He has a Honeyflower and a Fire Elemental on the board, and Wave 5 is coming up. And yes, here is that Hermit Send coming out from So Close to Win. I think Wackle might be in a little spot of bother there on wave number 5. We might have a Scorpion.
Yeah, he's digging in his reroll, so maybe he'll find like a Seraphim or a Desert Pilgrim.
I don't think he'll find a Seraphim, but he might find an Infiltrator or something like this.
Yeah, it would be hard for him to find a Seraphim on wave 5.
Curious.
uh,
we still can't see what he's
and
picked.
This could be...
I would like a bit like a spectator upgrade where you can see what they're looking at in their role, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he did find a Swift
Um,
magic unit, but he couldn't quite afford to play the Fire Lord here on wave 5. Now, he is on
yeah.
470 value, but I think the Hermit is just absolutely crushing him here. I mean, look at this. Like, the Scorpion King's still
I don't think he's
alive. Honeyflower
ready.
goes down. He does kill it.
Oh,
Wait, is
it
he
turns
just...
out 470 value is really good.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Okay, I mean, I take it
Yeah.
back. He's just absolutely smurfing on the wave.
Yeah, that's very surprising to me. I mean, obviously, Mercenaries have been nerfed a bit, but Hermit Aura hasn't been.
Yeah,
Um,
he just looks so weak here, right? That
he looked a
really
bit dead, but now
surprises
Wackle
me.
is just in a dominant position.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't think
and
he'd
he
be able
does.
to kill the Scorpion Kid. Like, I thought the Hermit would just completely
No.
overpower him.
Yeah, apologies to the slime larva. I wasn't familiar with your game.
Yeah. Just infinite arcane
Something to
HP.
note, yeah, Turnixius actually went for plus 75
Impressive.
Treant plus Chlorapixie play.
Hmm.
So he has two units that he could have prepped for Wave 7, notably the Hellraiser, which gets a little power boost after you build it. And of course, he could also have gone for the Casket, since he is so high overvalue already here.
Yeah.
That is one of the ways to kind of get around the Sakura weakness. But
Absolutely got his
yeah,
guy.
ooh, Wackle.
Yeah. So Wackle proving too much for the Hermit on 5, but overly vulnerable to the Lizard King up on 6.
Well, lizards are, they've been kind of crowding out the dragon turtle recently since the buff. So
Yeah, no, that's true. Maybe Dragon Turtle needs some more attack damage.
oh,
Okie
man.
dokie. So we have another income send coming out from all 4 players. It's a slightly larger income send from Turnix and Wackle, keeping the pressure up on Sagittarius, and so close. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen Wackle playing so fast and aggressive here. He's minus 115 value on the 7th wave. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, he's recognizing that Turnixius is kept so close to win at 8 workers.
Hmm.
Um, and really taking advantage of, he's got kind of 3 exceptional units for the first 7 waves here, 8 waves here.
Yep.
So, ooh, Turnixius, like I
Okie
said, didn't
dokie.
prep his units for this wave. Will leak
Yeah.
54%.
Yeah. Wackle at least
And
he
with
is
the new,
covering with his 595 value.
very true. So with the new Burt changes here, I'll let you know how
Oh,
much gold
this is a lot of gold. In fact, we
is
can watch. We
received.
can watch in real time as the gold gained from
Yeah.
leaks just shoots up here for Sagittarius. Look this. Thank you, Bert. He's on 25
Wow,
gold
half a
gained from
worker.
leaks now.
Ooh, that is not good. I mean, of course, the Western team is in a bit of a dominant position here.
Hmm.
You have both the cash out player and the cartel player not really keeping pace. Wackle is opting for a great boar here. I think that's fine. I'm not sure if that's what I would build.
I mean,
Um,
you
I
say
think,
that. You say they're in a dominant spot, but both of them look absolutely garbage on the 10th wave. So I can see some serious damage being dealt against the side of pre-round workout if So Close and Sagittarius just go for a little one-wave skip. I think they can do a ton of damage on 10. And
yeah,
in
I
fact,
agree. Also, this is really, really poor.
yeah. Oh, that is bad.
I
That's an
mean, okay.
85% leak against the Dino Snail. Turnix Theus, who was,
Yeah,
I mean, he was building like there was no tomorrow in game number 1, but now he's really struggling, it seems, against the income sends from
yeah.
Sagittarius.
I'm kind of starting to understand why you had to build so much before.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Okay, I
just
mean, Sagittarius is just getting infinite gold from this, thank you, Bert. We
Yeah,
do
another 40 gold there.
we
That
do
is
have a full
exceptional.
send coming out from 3 of 4 players here, actually. Turnix Theus' full send is a little over 120 Mythium, it seems. Sagittarius, I mean, he should be fine here. His units are bad, but he's on good value. Meanwhile, the Mole resend into Turnix Theus. He does drop the Radiant Halo, but the rest of his units look terrible here against a Mole. We might see another
Yeah,
leak.
I think he's going to leak on value here.
Mm.
Wako probably is fine versus this mole. Oh, excuse me.
Wackle's
Wako didn't
very
even
fine.
receive
This
mole.
this is Lizard King up, so I think Wackle is holding for
Yeah.
sure. So close, his Slime Mommy does die there before reaching full mana, so that's a lot of value lost. He's going to leak decently, actually. Meanwhile, Sagittarius, who I said was looking fine, he did not harden that Mudman, which I expected, and as a result, he's going to be leaking decently as well. Yeah, here we go. 64% on So Close, 69 on Sagittarius. Sure, Turnix Theus leaks again, but Wackle is able to cover that on the left side. Meanwhile, for the Dom, they're dropping a decent chunk of King HP here.
Yeah, a decent chunk of King HP, and more importantly, they kind of gave back that wave 10 pressure that you were saying.
Right.
Although I really don't dislike that send that they did. I mean, you should take advantage of Turnixius's build if you can. I mean, he's lost already almost 180 gold to leak, which is quite substantial.
Oh, that's a lot, yeah. And Sagittarius has gained a ton. But if you look at the gold gain from leaks on Turnix and Wackle, I mean, most of that they've just gained now on wave 9, right? But it's actually looking pretty close. And if you look at those win chances there, Jules is giving a 68% for pre-round workout to 2-0 this series.
Yeah, and Wackle is like, he's actually recognized his spot, which I love to see, because that's kind of what we were complaining about last game. It's like, recognize your spot, take note of what units you're using, and just play properly around it.
Yeah. I think we're about to see Turnix Theus leaking wave 10 while being overvalued with an Arc of Justice. Yep, looks like we will.
Yeah, he did manage to put a Seedling in the third column in order to drag the boss towards all his ranged DPS as opposed to away from.
Impressive.
Yeah, that maybe is not the play I would have made. Ooh, and we do see an all-out assault play.
Okay, things are getting spicy here, Kidius. We get the double all-out resend here coming out from For the Don. Maybe they're starting to feel a little bit desperate. You know, they're 1-0 down. The game again was kind of going in their favour. Turnix Theus was chain leaking. And then that wave 9 happened and they lost 40% King HP, gave away a ton of gold. Wait, no, Sagittarius, I think you clicked on the wrong Legion spell there, my friend.
Uh-oh.
He's
definitely not good.
He gets a similar amount of lithium, but 80 of it is lizards.
Yeah, these disciples are actually very much so in danger versus a ranged wave. So there goes down one disciple for no reason.
Yeah, well,
don't love that.
I'm not sure about no reason. It might have been for fun.
Very true. I think Wackle is just holding despite losing a.
I mean, they're both
disciple to the
insane value numbers.
To the war.
Right? We have 1,700 for both of them. That's a baby leak there for Turnix Theus. That's a shame. And you know what I hate about Lizard Army? Now he's just sending free gold into Turnix Theus' lane for the next 2 waves. And there's nothing he can do to stop it.
Telling me.
There's nothing he can do to stop it. No matter how much he wishes.
Maybe. Oh, man. And they are going to go for the resend?
Okay.
Just feeding a little more gold in. Why not? And I think we'll see a wave 14 from Wackle and Turnix Theus and find our next matchup.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Wacklinator, he is staying plus 20. Actually, no, that's not enough. He's staying plus 70 here. But, you know, there was a Lizard Army, so of course he's going to stay over value. I can see it. I can see the line of play. Turnix Theus, he is a little bit under here, but he's receiving 3 lizards. So, you know, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I can see Turnix Theus leaking.
I can see Turnix Theus leaking, but they just have such a massive pressure advantage. In fact, the leak here is probably good for the side of Turnix Theus and Wackle, right? Because Wackle is very obviously holding and full covering with his build and his value, while sure, Turnix Theus leaks, but it just gives them more time. Even though it's a decent leak, 65%, it's another 10, 20 seconds for them to save their Mythium, and So Close and Sagittarius, they are in a lot of trouble, kid, when this send comes.
Yeah, this is going to be big time. Let's talk about sends that should be coming into the lanes here.
Well, clearly
what
with
do you
that wave
think
12,
would send?
I think with the Wave 12 resend, there is obviously no pressure here on 13. So
Mhm.
Turnix Theus and Wokkel probably looking at a Wave 14 angle, especially if So Close upgrades one of his Berserkers here, which it doesn't look like he is doing actually. He's going for a Halo instead. Sagittarius, meanwhile, I mean, he makes the Phoenix here. He could do well here on 13, but of course they don't send here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wave 14 send coming out. But they can just go straight 15 as well, right? Remember, So Close and
Yeah,
Sagittarius, they
it,
just don't have any pressure. And look, again, Lizard Army, man. It's another 48 gold for free going to Turnix Theus.
yeah, and causing the wave to be just that much longer.
Yeah. Now here comes that send. The Wave 14 that we talked about, it's Needler Pack Mole from Wokkel. It is Double Ogre Mole from Turnix Theus. And So Close Sagittarius. What are your answers here, guys? We do have golems on both players. Are they going to make the read and harden here, though? What do you think? Obviously, we know they
Yes.
should. And yes, Sagittarius, he does make the correct read. He's double hardening those golems.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I'm not sure about this Needler send. I think it's probably better to have double Four Eyes.
Hmm,
Four Eyes is good versus a Golem, especially a hardened Golem, and
yeah.
versus a Phoenix, very strong. But I do understand the logic behind the Needler. Uh, I just think the Needler's not very good versus hardened Golems.
No, of course, but it has snacked on all of these
Oh,
peewees, though. The Phoenix is
it's
doing the Lord's
absolutely
work here
thinking with
for
the Phoenix.
Sagittarius.
Yeah.
He's just holding,
So
right?
Sagittarius is doing very well. I think he's just holding.
He is just
Um,
holding. Turnix Theus does leak while being plus 130 value, meanwhile,
yeah.
against the 260 send. While Sagittarius against the 780 Mythium send is just holding. So, okay, the tides have turned once again. If nothing else, kid, we have to say this series has been very back and forth. The two teams seem quite closely
Yeah, that's
matched.
definitely something you could say about this series. um, all right.
But even with Turnix Theus leaking
That's the
there, Wokkel once again covers full in the mid. They take no king damage on the side of pre-round, while for the Don, they're down to a third of their king HP remaining. So one more mistake and they are donezo.
yeah. And as the dust settles here, what should become somewhat clear is So Close to Win is meant to suicide for wave 16. He's sending him to Wokkel because Wokkel, he's shown the boars. Obviously, he does have a honey flower, but you know that you're not going to be able to leak Disciple Boar
Hmm.
on 17. You just simply aren't. And additionally, you really don't want 17 to come into Sagittarius' lane, given that he's already rocking with
Yeah.
what is that, almost 1,000 value in units that are incredibly poor on 17,
Hmm.
despite the fact that he does have golems.
Yeah.
You should also just assume that Wackel took pawn shop, so you know that he could even build these flowers relatively for free on 16.
Right.
Maybe that's going through their head, but
I I assure you it's not.
yeah.
They probably are paying attention to the honey flower, right? But we can see that Wokkel has re-rolled that. Um, and I mean, he's just an absolute god on 17, right? So what are they going to do? So, like you say, So Close and Sagittarius,
Yeah.
they do save their Mythium here. We didn't get that Sui push for 16 line. And what, now they're going to be forced to send on 17, where Wokkel is an absolute machine?
Yeah. I don't love what Wackel's doing either. There's kind of this random value assortment of he hasn't finished his disciple circle. He has a white main that hasn't fully gotten his value, and he's also not even fully taking advantage of like a boar charge distance by keeping the wave where the boar charges.
Hmm.
Um, but he'll still be fine on 17,
Oh yeah, he will. He will.
despite all these things.
He might even see his way through to like spending 50 gold to increase his boar value. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Okay, here comes the 17 send from Turnix and Wokkel. Likewise, actually, from So Close and Sagittarius, so they do at least understand the position they're in, but maybe I would have liked to see them just income king here, at least against Wokkel.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think that the Income King would be probably a little too much, too little, too late, given that he
Yeah.
built for this wave and is leaking,
Yeah.
um,
Uh,
and has
he's gonna
not
hold.
really any reasonable answers.
He's got
Oh,
this. He's chilling.
insane hold. um, Wackle goes for the triple 4i. Probably would have been better to go like Shaman 4i 4i. Um,
I
but
can
triple
see it though.
4i,
Like he knows he's sending into multiple hardened columns. I don't think it's terrible.
yeah.
And the
No, I don't
ogres,
think
of course, are less desirable because the leviathans just make them get insta snipe.
exactly.
But look at these boosted peewees as well. Going to kite the wave a little bit. This peewee here
Uh,
to keep his phoenix alive. I don't hate this building here from Sagittarius,
uh,
but I'm pretty
Wackle
sure
did
Wackle
manage
just
to
holds.
move his yeah, he managed to move his board damage up half a square. That's pretty good.
Absolute
Oh,
beast.
and by doing so, he actually kills the Robo.
Nice.
Very impressive.
So pretty solid ball value there.
Uh, Sagittarius, or sorry, Turnixius actually also doing incredibly well due to that
Yeah.
Triad spam plus
But Wackle is like easily holding. It's not even remotely
yeah,
close.
Wackle's easily holding.
Meanwhile,
They're
Sagittarius
both Sagittarius.
125%, So Close
And so,
86%, and Kid, I believe that is a 2-0 for pre-round workout.
yeah, made it a slightly more exciting after wave 14, but
Mm-hmm.
just couldn't find the right lines, I think.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Sagittarius, I had high hopes. I think this guy's been playing like an absolute beast on the ladder for the last month or so. So I thought we might see
Mhm.
something a little bit more impressive. But they're not out yet, Kid. They have another chance.
No, no.
They do have
Yeah,
another chance.
not to diminish Sagittarius as a comp,
No.
but I think it's easy to be a beast on the ladder when there are no beasts on the ladder.
Hmm. Well, I mean, there's plenty of beasts on the ladder, let me tell you, my friend. If we take a quick look at this win probability graph, there is a little bit of that roller coaster showing that we talked about. You know, we had for the Dom, they were ahead pretty much for the first 5 waves. Then things happened and it switched over again, and then wave 9 happened and it switched back again. And yeah, it was just very up and down. And I think that was pretty much the same in game number 1, right? Do we still
Yeah.
have the other side of the bracket open or no? So King Downs and Widdowson, they have also 2-0 their series against the worst polls, Fake One and Pakistan RQS. So it looks like a couple of 2-0 matchups here in Group A. So I guess we probably just have to hop over to a quick break, give the guys a bit of a chance to breathe, and then we can come back with round number 2 with a winners match, and that will be Abrasiat going up against the Wackler himself and Turnix. So that should be a pretty interesting match. But we're going to have a bit of a 10-minute break, guys. Give the players a chance to breathe, give the casters a chance to breathe, because that is obviously a very fast-paced, aggressive series. So just a chance to cool down. That good with you, Kid?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Awesome. Okay, Twitch chat, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Next games to start in about 10 minutes' time. So we will see you there. Goodbye.
Never toss a dwarf.
gentle.
All right, welcome back, Twitch chat. Welcome back. I hope you're ready for some more fantastic Nova Cup games. The next match we have to look forward to is Abraceit. That is none other than the king himself, King Dans, and Wibberman, his trusty sidekick. They will be facing off against the masters of Legion TD, Turnix Theus and Wackle, who we've just seen steamrolling their way to victory there in the first series of today's Cup. Kidius, what do you have to say about this matchup?
Yeah, excited to hopefully see some logical Legion tower defense too. I think King and Witter generally are two players who are really good around kind of playing around their own power spikes, identifying their personal weak waves. Generally, you see Witterson take kind of more supportive role, but definitely can carry, as you see in his solo queue games. He loves to income send there. So definitely excited to see these two. I think Turnix and Wackle could definitely do really well here. It honestly kind of feels like it's going to be a roll of the dice. Are we going to see the Turnix and Wackle who accurately build, or are we going to see the Turnix and Wackle who maybe chain leak to income send from wave 7 to 10?
Yeah. I have to say as well, like, if things go the way they did in game number 2 there, with Turnix Theus just chain leaking versus income every wave, King Dans and Witterson are not going to let them come back into the game, right?
So no, definitely not.
They were able to turn things around against Sagittarius and So Close, but I think King Dans and Wibberman, it's fair to say, are just at a higher level of the game. And if they get into that position so early in the game, what was it, like wave 6, 7, 8 that Turnix Theus just leaped back to back? I think King Dan and Witterson will just absolutely go for the throat, and they just won't let up with an advantage like that under their belts. So I think this match will be a bit harder for Turnix Theus and Wackle, but we can't count them out. They clearly outplayed their opponents in the first series, and King Dans and Witterson, they are beatable. Kidius, we've seen it happen before.
Yeah, no, these guys are pretty good at the game, but I'm excited for what's to come. Let's say casters are ready.
Casters are ready, and we do have a lobby full of players, so we should get this next game underway very, very shortly. If you had to put a bet on this, Kidius, which side are you betting on, Abraceit or a pre-round workout?
Yeah, it depends on my odds. If it was like 100 to 1, I might go for Turnix Theus and Wackle, but right now I'm feeling pretty good about Witterson and King Dans taking this one.
Fair enough. Playing the odds there, Kidius K. A man of culture, I see. But guys, without any further ado, game number 1 of this second round, Abraceit versus pre-round workout. Let's go.
YOLO from Witter, pretty decent. A lot of synergy between the Daphne Zeus combo.
Oh, that's a very playable YOLO roll. Holy moly, I would kill for that YOLO roll.
And King has a very playable flower roll, very playable gun roll. I suspect we'll see one of those two openers. Turnix Theus mega-minded into
Castle once again.
Castle.
That's quite interesting. I think Turnix Theus has now played Castle for all 3 games in a row. Perfectly legally, because he mega-minded it, then he picked it, now he's mega-minded it again, so presumably he picks it again after beating King Dans here?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. He has picked kind of the most hodgepodge amount of units possible. Whirlycopter plus Steed is a notable synergy.
Whirlybird Steed, which I think feels like an easy combo here, right? You just go Whirlybird, pop down a couple of Steeds, you've got the APS there for your power spike. Sadly, no Magician in the game, which would have been incredible on those Whirlybirds.
And Wackle managed to not pick Harpy, despite his entire role being super good if he picks Harpy.
But we did see him do something similar in the first game, if you remember, when he didn't pick the Trinity Archer with his Tempest Archer roll. The man, let him cook, kid. Let him cook.
Maybe he knows something I do not.
Very likely.
Very likely.
Wibberman going for
Um,
the Zeus start, and King Dan's no tier 1 in his role. He didn't want the Atom, strangely.
yeah, I mean, I think that the Howler can kind of contribute as the expensive Peewee of his role, if you will.
I mean,
Um,
sure, but I really like Flower Atom, because I think the Atom just giga covers your weaknesses on wave 5 and 6.
no, I totally agree. Um, I think he is maybe. I'm not going to try to make an argument for it.
Okay. Let's just tally it up to King Dan's being a little bit rusty. He spent too much time playing TFT.
Too much TFT rots the brain. Um,
Wackle is holding
so
this no send here on way 2. Very impressive. Here
just
comes
barely.
Snails.
Wait, who is Wackle sending into?
Wackle is sending into Wibberman. He's gone for the Lizard into the Zeus. Wibberman does have enough gold for a full veteran. Rather decides to go for Nekomata and Shift 59 gold, which is an equally good line, I think.
I suspect he will be adding a sack and a Peewee.
He will.
Oh, no Peewee.
No Peewee.
Would it? Ooh, we would have leaked to the 60.
He almost
Yeah.
definitely would, yeah.
He might leak to the 40 here.
Yeah, the 60 would have been a juice. The Zeus, I just feel, is always way weaker on 3 than you feel like it should be, because it just quite often gets horrible like thresholds with its spell. He's not doing that here though.
Yeah.
So he actually got really good damage thresholds there. So he leaks just 19%. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, not terrible. Wackle opted to go to 6 workers, but now his gold's going to be really awkward. I'm not sure what his build plan is here, because he can't afford
He can't afford the bounty
to go
hunter.
for the bounty. Yeah.
And he is getting a full send here. I mean, does he just like sell a Peewee for it or something? No,
I
he
guess
gets the second Seraphim. Okay.
double Seraphim.
Okay, that is fine.
Fine, I suppose, yeah. Pernicious sending a Hermit into Dan. King Dan
Okay.
easily holds this.
Yeah, with the Fire Elemental, it's giga easy.
Yeah. Not maybe Pernicious just hasn't played enough games versus this to know. This does leak to 120 for what it's worth. A DT would leak this.
Okay. Just because the DT stays alive for so long against the Fire Elemental.
Yeah.
Hey, wait,
Yeah.
wait, Kidius, did you lie to me?
Well,
That's a
you know what? Maybe
71% leak in my books.
things.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, maybe pathing changes things. The
have
Fire
a-
Alley only takes 3 creeps there.
yeah, okay. And we have a Waldo Sam angle as well. Like, he held his own wave, but the Zeus is dead, so there's no cover in the mid. And this is a decent chunk of king damage here. They're down to 86% on the side of Abrasir. So first blood
Yeah.
decisively in favour of pre-round workout.
And more importantly, Ternixius is able to get out his Mudman here.
So he will be able to hold the 3 snails sent from Widdowson here on
Yeah.
wave 5. That's pretty solid for him. We do get the
Witterson
bounty hunter
did decide,
upgrade.
and Witterson did decide to go to 9 workers and leak this wave as well.
Only a lizard to be sent here from the Wocklinator. Now the Zeus. Oh, that's actually. Oh no. Okay. Oh phew.
Yeah.
Saved. That was very close to being an unmitigated disaster there for Wibberman. King Downs, he holds. He's going to be able to pull cover as well. Widdowson very nearly didn't kill that Scorpion King, and this 53% would have been an 80.
Yeah, not in love with how they're playing this so far.
Yeah. Can I just recall the chat that we had immediately before the game where we were saying that Turnix, Theus and Wackle were the underdogs in this matchup? Maybe, do you want to, should we change that around? Maybe Widdowson and King Dan's feeling a bit too rusty here.
I think it's going to come down a lot to what Wackle decides to do on this wave. King Dan's is operating with some pressure. You know, when you see the double Seraphim, you can kind of assume that wave 7 is going to come.
Yeah.
Wackle does go for the Grarl. I would
Yeah.
love to see him reroll.
He,
Um,
he'll just have a Kingpin, right? On 7, which
yeah,
by
but
the way, can
Kingpin
still
is
leak decently against a couple of brutes.
yeah, it's exceptionally bad on wave 7.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't be shocked to see even just him leaking to a Cannoneer.
Very interesting split here from Turnixtheus, with the Goblin Copter a full square higher than the Fire Elemental, resulting in a 60% leak, which I'm pretty sure should have just been a full hold.
Yeah,
But that just creates a long wave here for the Wocklinator to release his double brutes, farm a couple of stacks on the Bounty Hunter, which surely becomes a Kingpin here on the 7th wave. Kingdan's just opting for the income send, though. He could have double bruted pre-income.
yeah.
I mean, I
I'm
assume
curious to
Kingdan's is
hear
just... Yeah.
if Witterson leaks to this double brute. He has a lot of options, and he's kind of taking all the ones that don't try to hold on this wave.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, the double stacked
not
kitty is pretty good. The Wocklinator does not even reach 40, I think, so it's going to be double brute snail.
yeah.
There's a 160
And
actually
Wackle,
against Kingdom.
yeah, Wackle receives just the income instead
Yeah.
of the brute.
So he's going to be perfectly fine. He's going to be able to push even higher than the 8 workers he already has. Meanwhile,
Wow, 8.
Kingdan's... Yeah, I mean, he's just holding. Wibberman looks like maybe a small leak here, but nothing really to write home about. Is he
Yeah.
even leaking?
He looks fine. Turns out power mercs when you're on 8 workers for the whole game is not super good.
Not amazing, no. But he at least kept Widdowson relatively low workers until now as well. But yeah, it's I'm calling this one a win for Widdowson and Kingdowns. They went for the income play. You can see it clearly in those income numbers. Widdowson and Kingdowns 120 income, Turnixtheus and Wackle 80. I mean, it's a massive disparity there, kid. Sure, Turnixtheus is on castle, so in theory he can catch up by wave 14. That's just simple math. But I don't know, man. Like, the early game snowball is rolling here for Abraceet. Sure, they took a bit of king damage, but they're in a really strong position economically.
Yeah, and there's somewhat accurate pressure right now into wave 9. Witterson is going to be able to go Sovereign, I suspect, although Tree of Knowledge is quite good there as well.
Well, the Boom Tree is good on 9, but not if you have no other tank value, I don't think.
Yeah, this is true. He does have a full stack kitten, which is, 2,700 HP?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And we see Turnixtheus just barely holding. That's kind of a juicer, actually. Turnixtheus playing like a little bit of a beast here. Minus 160 value on the 8th wave, making it nice and long with their planned wave 9 send coming out. We see the double moles here from Turnixtheus and the Wocklinator. Wibberman and King Schwanz, meanwhile. King is on value with 1100. He has a death cap here. Turnixtheus did get that Hermit to pair with his mole, though, so this can actually still be pretty dangerous, even with that death cap on the board.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this works out. I'm shocked to see that King Dans and Witter skipped here. Of all the waves to skip, this is not the one I anticipated.
Yeah, and Wibberman did go for the
Witter...
Sovereign, but it's full tanking and it's just instantly dead. He got zero value from that Sov.
Super interesting positioning. And by interesting, I mean bad.
Yeah.
But he is plus 10, I guess. So he's thinking, I don't have to build here if I don't want to.
Or don't have to build well here if I don't have to. So 60% leak for him. Kingdan's, I think he can't kill the mole, but I mean, King's leak is obviously very fine. He gets a 220 send, he leaks only a low HP mole, but Waldoson strikes again, leaking over value here on the 9th wave, and that's just a little bit more chip damage against the side of Abraceet.
Yeah, they do have 4 regen, so the chip damage matters less and less. Oh, and an Ogre! I like this.
And an Ogre from Wibberman as well. So Turnixtheus and Wokkel, now it's their time to misread the situation though, because they did not send their Mythium here. So a little bit of Income King would have
Yeah.
been pretty nice. Maybe they're just thinking, you know, there's Creditor in the game, so there's absolutely no way that Widdowson and King Dans can send here on 10. But I think they're about to be caught by surprise, because these are not only sends, they're pretty juicy.
Yeah, they're good sends, they're strong sends, it's low value. This is definitely the accurate play, and I think this will be, let's predict 40% king.
Yeah, they're going to take a ton. They have
Witterson,
no King attack upgrades, by the way.
yeah, Witterson opted to kind of take the genius
Oh.
mode play and not,
Not full send, yeah. Pretty
yeah.
solid. Now, Turnixtheus very nicely sniped that Ogre with his Firelord, still leaking 52%, and Wocklinator 93%. I don't think you predicted that, but this is going to be an insane amount of King damage because they have no upgrades whatsoever.
Yeah. No, actually, what I was predicting was 40% king HP, but it appears that it's going to be, what is this?
Almost a
Yeah?
one-shot, in fact. In fact, it just is a one-shot. Okay.
Yeah, that's just, yeah.
Okay, I guess. What have I just witnessed, kid? What happened here?
I think some gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the graph, it's back and forth, it's back and forth. They're actually in the lead on wave 10 until all of a sudden they're just dead.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and that actually broke my Legion TD2 client. How terrific!
it's had enough. It just can't
Yeah.
take it anymore.
Couldn't Alt F4 that guy.
It was
See if we
quite a
can relaunch here.
quite a nice ogre snipe there from Turnixtheus using his goblin copters in the split to kite the boss while his Firelord could go and 1v1 the ogre. But Wokkel just leaked absolutely catastrophically here, 93%, and it was, in the end, enough to take them literally from 100% to 0 on wave 10. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know if you managed to catch it, but Wackel actually he perfectly performed the optimal bad split, in which the ogre goes to the right, takes out the entire split with its little bonk bonk ability,
Yep.
and then gets focused by the gate damage, so that the gate
Ah.
damage just gets perfectly split the whole time.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, really, without that positioning, I don't think King Dans and Witter could have won it there. So.
I mean, I certainly didn't expect them to win there. They're gonna deal some damage, sure. Even when seeing the leaks, I didn't think this was going to be 100% to 0%.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do 60% damage, but perhaps I'm too used to the one thing that I did notice in both the first two games that we watched and this one as well is that Wackel and Turnixtheus always go for that double AoE up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not the double attack.
Yeah.
And this is a moment where that matters. So.
Yeah. Like if it had been attack instead of spell, they would have survived. But there's a lot of ifs and buts, right? If they'd positioned slightly better, if they'd income kinged, if they'd done anything that wasn't exactly what they did, they would have survived. But I feel like even if they survive there with 20% HP or whatever, they're decently behind from feeding so much gold there on 10. I think their only real play was to just either full resend themselves on 10 or go for the full income king play. They must have known this end was coming. Like, sure, it's a creditor game, but they were both so weak on 10.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to hazard a guess into what they're thinking in that moment. To be frank.
Well, we'll have to see. Like, can they turn things around in game number 2? We always get into these situations and we start to think, well, morale is a bit of an issue for the losing team because, I mean, that was a devastating defeat there for Turnixtheus and Wokkel. They got absolutely obliterated by King Dans and Widdowson on wave 10. But they must have been feeling like they were in a pretty good spot, right? They got a decent amount of leaks in on against Widdowson in particular in the early game. They got some early king damage. Felt like they were in the lead, and then out of nowhere they just get one shot on wave 10. They got to be feeling pretty shook up about that one. So hopefully Turnix, Thierce and Wackel can keep themselves cool, calm and collected and come back in game number 2 with slightly more level-headed gameplay.
Yeah. And what's more is Widdowson didn't send a robo on wave 10.
Oh, he shifted like 60 lithium, right? Or at least 40.
Yeah.
Well, that would have killed them even more.
Might have broken through if they had had done two king attacks instead of 2 king AoEs.
Right. Okay, guys. I'm still flabbergasted about the ending to game number 1, to be honest. But without any further ado, here's game number 2.
See if they shift up their king spell meta here.
Do you remember the masterminds from
lock-in.
Widdowson and Kingdans in game 1? It was YOLO, right, for Widdowson?
Widdowson was YOLO, and Kingdans was Greed? Cartel? I don't remember.
I will find out. He was Megamind into Greed.
Turnixius actually gets an exceptionally good lock-in from his random lock-in roll for this map, given that Magician is one of the Legion spells.
Oh, the Disciple lock-in? Yeah, that's a juicer.
Kingdans, on the flip side, has a really powerful Chaos opener. Generally, the flying synergies are some of the best in the game, so I think you're always happy to see that as a Chaos player. Widdowson probably going to end up playing some form of Casket Angler. Powerful answers to waves 9 and 10. His 13 answers at Doomsday. Didn't get the chance to peek at Waffle's roll.
Like,
what was that? Sorry,
he's got Fatalizer in there as well. So if you're playing Casket Angler,
Head Chef Fatalizer.
If you're playing Casket Angler, you're worried about wave 5. You're worried about wave 6. But he has Seraphim in there to answer both of those waves. He's got the Berserker as well if it wants to be a wave 6 answer. And yeah, he has a very nice role, I think.
Yeah. Something to note here, actually, is that this positioning with Casket Angler can lead quite heavily to a snail on 2.
Right, because
you need the angler
is ranged, yeah.
Yeah, you need to put the angler up a square. And
yeah.
Widdowson, more positioning errors.
Let's see if Wackel is aware or not. Everything that I know about Wackel tells me he wouldn't resend, but it looks like Widdowson is adding the tier 1 regardless, so he'll just be fine.
Maybe this was his plan all along, try to bait the snail.
Bait the snail. Absolute 5-head play there from Wibberman.
Yeah, we can try to give him credit for bad positioning.
Sure, but he baited. Wackel, he didn't take the bait. Wackel knew what was up, you see. He looked at Widdowson and he just knew he was going to add here on wave 2.
So, something to note, the 4-worker player has sent 20 on 2 in the form of a king up.
Is that good?
What do you think of that?
I mean, if you're 4 workers sending into Kingdans and you give him a free game, I can't see a problem with it.
No, I think that's probably the right call to do.
Yeah.
Well, and they did not shift it up, by the way. 3 AoEs.
3 AoEs, wow, okay. I mean, that king spell is going to decimate wave 10.
Yeah. Wackel is 6 workers with the upgraded casket.
Well, he is holding against the snail here.
Yeah, deadly snail. Widdowson opted to go for the double angler line.
Yeah, he's holding as well.
Oh,
Again, I actually don't think
I
don't think he would hold against a 60 send here. I think the snail might have been enough. I could be completely...
That I don't know. Yeah. That one I'm not sure about. I do know that Casket historically has struggled versus the 60 on 3 as opposed to the 40.
Yeah. It's more the fact that the Casket is just full tanking, right? Because the anglers just don't help. And the anglers also have trouble with killing the snail, so...
yeah.
I don't know.
Precisely, precisely. So King Dan's putting a bit of the starve on. He's pressuring Wackle's wave 5, which you can assume is a weak wave of the casket,
Yeah,
particularly if you see somebody investing 230 gold into the casket on wave 3. However, he's going to be very, very saddened to hear of the Desert Pilgrim's arrival.
yeah, quite a good unit on the 5th wave. Is that Desert Pilgrim
Yeah.
actually? It's almost known for it, you could say. So here's the double Robert send coming out from King. We have income coming out from Wibberman and Wackle. Let's see if he's able to put his Pilgrim in the right position. He can! Nice. He's even selling the split to replace it over there as well, so he's going to be more than fine.
Very good. Yeah. Unfortunately for King Dan's, he's actually not going to receive a send here. He did opt to not push more, so he's plus 35. He got
He's
the
pulling
Pilgrim
the
out
boss
himself.
right here as well. Bit of a positioning error from the King, I think.
Yeah, definitely a curious one. Not
I
what
guess
I would have done.
plus 35 he can position wherever he wants, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, the Robos are stuck onto the Arcane Armor unit that's being healed. And the Pilgrim itself just does an enormous amount of damage on wave 5, so looking pretty good. And luckily for Wackle, since Ternixius has been accurately protecting his actual weak wave of 6, he will not be too scared to push here.
Wow.
And he will definitely push more than one worker to the 100 send of King Dan's, right?
Right? Wrong.
Right?
Almost.
Almost.
Almost. But
in his defense, this snail is very deadly that King Dan's could send him.
yeah, no, that is true. And why would you want more workers? It's not like you're going for a full send here on 6 after all.
No, very true. Witterson does just manage to get his Berserker out while saving his Mythian. Builds coming together very well. That's just kind of the wonders of Cartel.
Fine here. Like, he's on value, he has a Berserker and a Devilfish, both incredible units in the 6th wave, but he also has a Casket and a Bounty Hunter, which are not exactly known for their prowess. He is sniping one of the brutes very, very quickly, and now his 2 units are perfectly split tanking the wave. So, I think
I don't know about perfectly. I think he's leaking.
He is leaking, but this is a very good split of the damage there. Lets him kill a couple more Roccos, maybe. King Dan's, he leaks as well, 30%. Wibberman leaking 46%. And First Blood, once again, goes to the side of the pre-round workout. Their protein shakes clearly kicking in here in game number 2.
Very true. Very true.
We have income resends coming out. Wibberman going for a bit of a copium power merc send into Ternixius here.
Oh, no.
On the 7th.
I think this is excellent. This is going to leak him.
I mean,
very genuinely.
He got quite a lot of gold in the last wave. He may well leak, sure, but the most Wibberman can add here is a snail. So it's 120 send. Ternixius, like, he has good damage, he has good tanks. I'm sure the rest of his build looks garbage here. Hey, do you know what? He actually should drop these and build a Final Form Oathbreaker. Then he's easy holding.
Yes, Final Form Oathbreaker here would have
been Omega
bit better. Yeah. That unit is correct.
The scientific term is Gigabyss.
Gigabyss. I will remember that one.
He is leaking, actually, quite decently. You are correct.
Yeah, like I said, I think it'll be like a 6 or so.
Yeah. Kill a couple more, maybe.
Well, no, he did get the. He got the brute.
Yeah, 34%. Meanwhile, the Wocklinator, he is holding and covering. There will be no return king damage on the side. King Dan's does leak to the Lizard Snail from Ternixius, and it's not like he has the worker lead, actually. So, pre-round workout, like, we're kind of memeing a little bit, but they're in a solid position here.
It's very true. Can you hear me?
Can I hear?
It appears my Legion client has once again
I can hear you. I can hear you. But okay, so our co-caster has unfortunately, it seems, dropped out of the game. Technical issues abounding. Steve Jobs clearly not a Legion fan, but let's see if we
We're
can
back.
carry this
We're
one until
back.
he's back. There we go. Amazing. Wibberman plus 172 value. He does whip out his Kingpin here over upgrading the Angler. You will be turbo rewarded with this Cannoneer send, so plus 30 gold for him. King Dan's, meanwhile, that's a Dino and a King upgrade. He should be fine here. Curious, actually, why Turnix DS didn't go for a full send here, given that King Dan's has leaked every wave back to back. Like, he could have added a
Yeah,
DT, I think, to that Dino, and maybe things go differently here.
I'm not sure. Definitely decent value. Witterson and King Danes are once again pressuring Wave 10, perhaps Wave 11.
Mhm.
Very notably, Desert Pilgrims lose a ton of value on Wave 10.
Yeah.
They're just, they're units that generate a lot of value because as units split tank,
Yeah.
they can kind of take advantage of that. In Wave 10, there's not a lot of split tanking going on generally. So
How do you
curious
feel
to see what occurs there.
How do you feel about Wackle opting to build his disciple at the back of his wave on the casket rather than trying to give his 2 Desert Pilgrims bonus value here?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he definitely would not have been able to position it in a way to give both pilgrims value.
No, that's true.
Um,
He hasn't assured that.
yeah, but I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's great. Um, that's not the most glaring positioning issue
Hmm.
or build issue in his lane. I
In
think.
the series, no. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, here's quite a large
Um,
send coming out on the 10th wave from Widdowson and King Downs. I'm starting to
yeah.
get a bit of deja vu here. We've got Ogre Robo from Widdowson. Let's see if he's able to spend all of his Mythium this time. King Downs with the
Oh,
triple
they
brute
skipped again.
snail. They did skip again. They are looking weak again, but this time, am I seeing things? Or do they have 7 King attack upgrades?
It's very impressive. Yeah, that's a new record for them, I believe.
It's 7 more than they had last game, so I don't think they're going to die here on wave 10.
Yeah. Um, there is Creditor. I will say, Creditor is not actually worth more gold value than the full Mana Circle on Disciple.
Hmm.
And they both have Disciples, so a bit of a strange one. Um,
Yeah, I think Creditor is also not worth more gold than leaking 90% on wave 10. But I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
yeah, that one's debatable,
I'll,
I
I'll have
think.
to run the numbers. So
Yeah,
there's 69 for Wackle, nice. 65 for Turnix
nice.
Diaz. And they're going to lose less HP this time than they did in the previous game, that's for sure.
Yeah. I will say, two brutes, it does make a sizable impact on
Mhm.
the amount of damage that you take from the king. Slowing the attack speed down by, what is it,
Yeah, like quite a bit. So they're on
18%?
46% King HP, which is at
Yeah.
least 46% more than they had in the previous game, so that's pretty juicy. Turnix Theus and Wackle, they do decide to go for an income send here after giving up all of that gold on wave 10, but at least they still pick Magician.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, Wackle has managed to roll into potentially the best possible build you can with Magician, which is Boris Starcaller
Mm-hmm.
leads.
Yep, pretty
So
pop.
that's pretty good. Um,
And Widdowson is on fire here. He has got a double Kingpin. I think he might be able to hold against the Cannoneer King Ups though, so I don't expect to see a shutdown given away here.
Probably not.
Hmm.
Um, all right, and they also both opt to show their Magician.
Yeah, interesting.
So I suspect we will see straight to wave 14 from King Dans and Witter.
I think
Uh,
Wackle can be an absolute beast on the 14th wave, but I mean, I think you may well be right. Having said that, though, Wibberman's cartel penalty has just kicked in, so he's now 100 income behind the Wacklinator. Will start to fall off if he starves for too long.
yeah, I could see 13 in this scenario, particularly since Witter did full push. He's not going to be able to get to a Fatalizer next wave unless they send. So
Mm-hmm.
that value is feeling faker and faker for him.
Yeah.
King Dan is notably playing Pawn Shop Chaos, so he's got a lot of opportunities to kind of kick off at any moment, and he's already placed an APS, so
He also has
not a terrible spot
a
to be in.
APS banker. Pretty notable combo
Yeah,
there.
shooting very quickly. Hate this from Ternixius, by the way. The Radiant Halo, double Radiant Halo is actually never better than just building a larger Halo. Nor
Well,
is it better
I can
than...
see with Magician because they have less mana and he's buffing more units.
It's just the Radiant Halo upgrade is actually so powerful. It's really, really unfathomable. But yeah, King and Witter do skip. Everybody skips. Witter probably just gets his head chef.
If
And
you
says that'll be enough.
if you don't like double Radiant Halo, how do you feel about triple Radiant Halo? Is that better or
I
worse than
feel
double?
like I think that there's going to be six ogres onto the East Side King on wave 14.
Yeah, yeah,
And that might be difficult for the 3 Radiant Halos to
yeah.
defend against.
It might be somewhat tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Twitter did pawn for his Fatalizer, so he won't be feeding his shutdown. And King Dan's has gotten into APS Doomsday.
Oh, that's pretty skillful.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And Wackle and Turnix, it does look like they're going for a full send themselves, whereas, I don't know, like Income King just seems like a cleaner play to me, but who knows. Actually, I can see it, to be fair. Like, King Dan and Widdowson both look pretty bad on 14.
No, I don't think that this is a bad line from them at all. They just need to survive here as well. I think Wackle will probably do very decently. I think Ternixius is gonna.
No, Ternixius, I mean, he does have triple Shroom, but the Ogres are going to make quick work of those. And yeah, like the triple Radiant Halo is just not it. They could just be 3 Disciples, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Witter using my favorite tech, the Millennium, onto the headshot.
Oh, with the polys to kite the wave.
Yeah.
But the sends are more than twice the size here. Ternixius receiving 700 versus the 340 of Widdowson. We'll have to keep eyes on this because his canopies, they're already all dead. His Starcaller is very soon to follow. And yes, this is exactly as you predicted, kid. 101% leak there for Ternixius on 14. Wackle's doing much better, but still a 58%. I don't know if they survive this. King Dan's full holds. Wibberman leaks 70%. And yeah, I think King can even just full cover of this in the mid because his Doomsday won't tank either.
Yeah, and something to know is King actually opted to build his Doomsday not on to his APS. That's saying split tanking that value is more valuable than having that, what is it, 11% increase? 12%. So.
And they're dead. So that is a 2-0 victory for the side of Team Abrasiate. Ternixius and Wackle, though, they had a good run, and crucially, they're not out yet. Ternixius and Wackle still have a chance to make it through to tomorrow's semi-finals. They will be playing in the last chance match. Do we know yet who they're going to be playing up against? Let's check it out. So Sagittarius, he is currently playing the lower bracket up against the worst polls, Fake One and Pakistan RQS. And currently it looks like they are 1-0 down. But we can hop into that game, Kidius. So we can spectate. Probably the so close to win might be the easiest one to spell.
I'm on my way.
Let me just very quickly see if I can update the scoreboard.
So Close to Win has actually updated his tagline to King of Low Mastermind. Oh, this is a very spicy game that we've entered into. Let me know when you're in.
We're here on wave 12. We have both kings very, very low HP. We have a decent amount of Mythium saved here on the side of the worst poles, and they are pulling the trigger on wave 13, it looks like. But So Close is on value. He has Lifesteal Fatalizer. He can build another. Fake One leaks no send here on 12, so he's going to feed a little bit of Burt. But Sagittarius and So Close, they're going for a full send as well. So this will be a race here on wave 13. Okay.
Yeah. Both Pakistan and the Fake One have substantially worse builds here than So Close to Win. That's really the lane that matters. He is receiving 2 4 eyes, which I think is probably the best send possible.
Yeah.
I suspect.
It's not very creative, but I think it's a decent send.
Yeah, you know, creativity goes a long way, I've heard. But Pakistan RQ is plus 40 here. So that will be the lane to watch on the other
much
side.
Bigger. Much bigger.
Yeah.
And Pakistan, like you say, he is plus 40, but his build is not good here by any means. And Fake One, he is going to be leaking decently, it seems. Let's keep eyes over here, because actually Sagittarius is doing very well as well. Oh no, though, So Close to Win. His Kingpin, because it's positioned in like your melee carry spot.
Oh no!
Oh, what?
They leak first.
I was watching the wrong side.
FF'd.
I was watching the wrong side. There is an FF coming out from the worst poles, and that means this series is now a 1-1. Kid, that's the first drawn series of the day. We're about to see a game number 3. Let's go.
That is terrific news.
Simply fantastic. We can see more of this high-level Legion. I am stoked. Game number 3. Let's go. All right, we've got ourselves a lobby.
Enjoy the ride. You all right?
I am all right. I'm just having a little bit of a cough, but I am fine. Okay, so I was asking the players not to forfeit during a casted game because it just kind of is weird when you're watching the stream and it just ends, especially if the caster is watching the wrong lane, as I was in the previous game. But the players seem to be on board with that, and we are about to get into game number 3. I don't know what the mastermind picks were from either of these players, so we'll just leave it with the masterminds not showing and assume that they are able to pick properly given the Conquest format. So Kid, I'm pretty stoked. It looks like we have a close matchup on our hands, and game number 3, Worst Poles versus For the Dawn. Let's go.
So it was Cartel and Castle. Sagittarius was Cartel, and So Close to Win was Castle. I don't know what Fake One in Pakistan RQ'd one with.
I assume it was not Cartel and Greed, so we'll go with something other than that. Taking a quick look at the role, Sagittarius is playing Chaos, which is disgusting, so he has absolutely zero self-respect. So Close to Win. I kind of like that role, actually. You can play the Skelly with like an Atom or something like that for wave 5. Pretty juicy. You can also just use it as a Graal as well, right? And go for something like your Banana Bonk with the Sea Dragon, which I think is a pretty solid pairing as well. Meanwhile, Fake One, I don't actually like his role at all. I don't think, nothing really speaks to me in his role. And Pakistan, similarly, to be honest, there's nothing amazing in either of those roles.
Yeah, Fake One has managed to click on the Whirlycopter Gargoyle, but he's choosing not to build it. He's actually over building here. Oh no, he's just taking his measurements.
He's just lining things up. Yeah.
I don't love this is just kind of more of a macro decision again. Don't love Slime Mama Flower because generally both of those units are a bit weak to a wave 7 punish. So I think in maybe a higher, a more turny focused gameplay,
Yeah,
you wouldn't see this opener.
yeah.
Um,
Kind of curious, isn't it, that Slime Mommy is punishable on wave 7, but you're absolutely right. But only because Mimic exists, right? Like, you would think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
perfect on wave 7 with the arcane armor, the impact damage, but when there's a Mimic involved, all of a sudden it's an absolute liability in your lane.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Anyways, Sagittarius, notably, um, got this Ranger on wave 2. It's pretty good. You're almost always stuck going a tier 2 plus a tier 1 if you open as Chaos with the
Mhm.
Oathbreaker. Very few viable additions, assuming that you're 5 workers.
Yep.
He did manage to snail in income versus the Slime Mommy. So
Okay.
hopefully, Pakistan RQs will take that and just go 6 workers.
Yeah,
Um,
he does. He's on 6 already. But I mean, I think it's fine that the snail was in income. Obviously, if it was post income, it would have been terrible. But pre income, it's kind of whatever. Um,
yeah, and he accurately does skip this wave, so putting pressure onto the wave 4.
yep.
Unfortunately, I am pretty sure that the Daphne will be fine on wave 4 to hold for Mr.
Yeah,
Pakistan.
I think largely it depends on how things tank on wave 4. Like if the slime mummy just runs it down against a dino or something, then obviously he can leak massively. But we'll have to see. Okay,
And the fake one, yeah.
Sagittarius receiving the big ascend here with 60 Mythium, and not great split tanking, honestly. That is going to result in a small leak for him, but it's, this is fine. This is fine. Does get
Yeah, I'm
one
actually
more.
curious to see how much gold value 24% gives over.
Oh, let's keep eyes. There's gain from leaks 0. Let's find out how much gold does the fake one get from this. 5. Thanks, Bert.
5 and 3, so 1 gold more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is being scapegoated.
Right. Yeah, one gold is not huge here on wave 3. But if you think of something like 2 creeps and a cannoneer on wave 6, that's 7 gold,
Yeah.
which is that's a lot, right? That's
So, no, there's definitely some substantial breakpoints.
Oh, here we have a
Sagittarius
Robertson.
does opt for the Robo,
Yeah,
and it will be gobbled, but
but it is doing
more
infinite damage
importantly,
before it dies, and it is tanking against the serpent as well, right? It's not terrible. That is going to result in a bit of a leak here for the fake one. 67%. I think that's a very, very worth robo here from so close to win.
no, yeah. In fact, let's look at the gold gained from leaks. And here's one of the important wave breakpoints that has changed with Bert.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually getting 2 to 1 as
Oh,
opposed to
right. Yeah.
0.5.
Sure. So
Yeah,
wave 3, like, there's no difference basically because the creeps just always give 1. But look at this. He now
yeah,
has 16 gold gained from so close versus just 8 from
yeah,
Sagittarius. So that's a big difference there on wave 4.
yeah. And he is onto the Sea Dragon with this Spectral Scallywag. Very powerful combination. Really enjoying how his role is kind of shaping out right here.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some small questions on Wave 9, but I think he's going to be okay.
I mean, they're in a good spot so far, right? And we do see back-to-back Power Merc sends here. The Robo once again dealing infinite damage while tanking the Serpent. And the Flower does go down by the same time that the Robo does. And this might be a bit of a leak, especially
It's
with...
going to be a much larger leak on Pakistan
Yeah,
RQ's lane. He was 0.03 mana off. That's 1 attack.
yeah.
Very unfortunate for him. He could have positioned this in such a way where the Devilfish has a Seraphim in this wave, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not only doing more damage, but it's more effectively split tanking. And
Right. Yeah.
anyways, we are going to see probably a wave. Oh, they're going here. All right.
Okay. So we've got the triple Robert send coming out from Fake One. We've got the Lizard Army coming out from Pakistan. Sagittarius, he's got 200 gold to play with. He can build that
He's
Berserker,
got
so
a
I expect that to come
yeah.
down. And here it is. Can't afford a tier
And
1,
there's no
unfortunately.
brutes into his lane
No.
either.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
Oh, oh.
Uh-oh. That's a bit of an error there from Sagittarius. He's expecting it to be wave 7, but it wave 7ant, unfortunately. So this is going to be a pretty juicy leak here for him, and he's going to be kicking himself, kid, I think, because he could have had that Berserker instead.
Yeah, he's really not doing terribly,
No, he, he,
but
he really
he
isn't.
definitely could have been full holding.
I mean, he has 665 value, so leaking at all, I think, is probably counted as terribly, but that's a 43% for him.
Yeah,
So close. He is going to be holding, of course. He got 2 lizards and a king up, so he is chilling. Won't really be
it
able
is
to
just
top
kind of
that.
embarrassing, I think,
Yeah.
lately at 660.
And meanwhile, Fake One leaking again to another Robo here on 6.
Yeah.
Okay, Sea Dragon had enough time to heal up that Scallywag in the mid, and that means it's a full cover here by So Close to win. So no king damage dealt in return. Was a big send here, 160 Mythium from Fake One. And no king damage dealt. I mean, I think if I'm on the side of For the Don, I'm happy with that trade.
Yeah. And notably, they're saving their Mythium here. It could be pressuring wave 9, could be pressuring wave 8.
Who
Both of these
knows?
waves are kind of, characteristically bad. The Deep Coiler is exceptionally powerful versus wave 8.
Yep.
Traditionally just two shots it, but
Can be
with
countered
a
though.
mole
Can be
or a
countered.
hermit,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
takes an extra.
yeah.
So curious to see how this plays out.
Even something like a Mimic could work very nicely against the Fake One here on 8 if that's what they want to play for. But we'll have to see. There was another Income King play from Fake One and Pakistan. This time Sagittarius is easily holding and So Close. I mean, I think he's just causing a very long wave here, so if they do want to go this wave 8, it could be pretty spicy, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're saving
Looks like
longer.
they're skipping. I would have loved to see the Fake One full send here as Pakistan RQs. Just try to take advantage of perhaps the lower values. I think that Sagittarius would leak. He honestly might leak no send. Harpy is one of those units that is incredibly powerful when it has a front line, and his entire front line is not a lot of his value. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it's a missed undercut opportunity, and they're really going to pay for it next wave.
Yeah, I think so. These Mythium numbers are starting to look very scary on the side of Sagittarius and So Close. We've got 270, Sagittarius not far behind. Sure, Fake One has the death cap angle, but again, like, it's super shut down by Mole Hermit. That appears to be 7 Robos, though, which is neither a Mole nor a Hermit coming out from So Close.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think maybe we just had to be more creative with how we were thinking about the sends here.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly creative here from So Close, who's also going for a Leviathan to buff a Proton and a Sea Dragon instead of a Harbinger on 9.
Yeah.
So creativity
Uh,
abounds. We do have
Curious
this.
to see how well Pakistan RQs does here.
Yeah, the send is huge. This is Ghost Knight and Brute into Pakistan. He is on value though, minus 15, with a Hardened Golem, which was also buffed by this Chieftain.
Yeah.
There's infinite Robos here. 320 Mythium of Robos coming into Fake One's lane, and because none of them are either moles or hermits, he's easily holding. Back in Pakistan's lane, he is also just holding? Huh.
Yeah, looks like it.
Well, alright then.
Definitely not what I think maybe Sagittarius and So Close to Win wanted to happen there.
No, possibly not quite what they were hoping for. And as a result, Pakistan, he's on fire here on wave 10. Not going for the pushing and leaking no send angle. He's rather going to overbuild by 200. Can't really fault him for not wanting to give away a 25 gold shutdown here when he has dehardened columns and a chieftain. So he's kind of playing around that, and I think that's very fine. Fake one. I mean, he's likewise building plus 100, but again, he has a Death Cap and 2 Green Devils, so you can't really fault him either.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to note about Sagittarius's play to build the Archer on Wave 6 is that there is Sorcerer in the game.
There is.
The Sorcerer is a very powerful thing to put onto your Archer.
No, that is true. We have income sends coming out from the side of the worst poles, and for the Don, they are once again chilling with their Mythium. He does pick that Sorcerer. So, I mean, you could well be right there, kid. That might be why he swayed towards the Archer on Wave 6 in this game, which we did see him pay for, but not too dearly. It wasn't a massive leak. And now he has this Sorcerer Trinity Archer. He's surely going to roll into Tempest at some point, and then he's just broken, right?
Yeah, then he's just kind of got an insane amount of value coming out from there.
Mm-hmm.
I do also, in our game 1, we were talking about how Ternixius and Wackel hadn't Sagittarius and So Close to Win hadn't noticed that when they're on fire, it's okay to just income king and keep your advantage. And Pakistan RQ is correctly identifying that. There's actually a Dark Ritual from So Close to Win in order for him to get a whole Haven here.
Bit of a juicer. I mean, he is kind of rewarded because there's a decently sized income send here, so he's snacking on that. Now he can push a couple of workers.
Sagittarius did roll into aid here, but he's not going to be able to place it because he pushed a worker.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate.
But yeah, their options, their lines here are getting kind of more and more closeted and closeted. Neither of them are particularly strong on Wave 13. So could see the fake one in Pakistan RQ's pressure there. Very interesting. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's just
a hero on my screen.
Yeah, I see it as well, but it's just a visual bug.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure where you go from here with Sagittarius and So Close to Win.
I feel like they're probably aiming for Wave 14, but as you say, they need to be able to hold on 13 themselves for that to work. So let's see. At least the side of the worst pole... Okay, they just send on 13. I don't see it working.
Yeah.
Especially when So Close to Win saves his Mythium here.
Yeah, the split send is interesting. I think that is one of the few arguments in favor of Bert that I agree with, is that the split sending is much more viable in the mid game, but I'm not sure if it was the right line in this specific scenario.
Pakistan, he's on 2.4k value. He's actually building for 14. He's making another slime mummy.
Seems a bit lost in what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, the 4 Eyes is not going to have good value at all because there's 3 slime mummies on the board here from Pakistan. So he should be doing very, very well, if not just full holding.
Yeah, I think Kraken or even a Seadram was definitely the correct send here.
Yeah, this is just a hold, right? Yeah. Easily, in fact, easily.
Yeah, so I think this game will go to 15 and be some big damage. On the side of the East team. Maybe death.
Maybe death. Maybe death.
It's kind of where I see this going right now. Particularly since Sagittarius again sent.
They're already kind of decently undervalued, at least on the side of So Close. Pakistan didn't go crazy on the workers off that 13 cent. I think he pushed 1 or 2 maybe. He's on... he's pushed a couple more. He's still pushing, in fact.
Yeah.
Oh, now it seems that he's full pushed, but after income.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting lines occurring in this game.
Oh, he's just flexing. But, right? He didn't need the extra 30 seconds of Mythium generation.
So here's the send. There's a Kraken.
Alright, there's a Siege Ram in answer there from Pakistan. We have a Needler coming out from the fake one. Sagittarius, he's just going for Income King. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just at a bit of a loss of what to kind of acknowledge here in this scenario.
Yeah. I mean, the wave 12, sorry, the wave 13 send there from Sagittarius has almost certainly ended up sealing their fate, because without that, maybe they could have forced wave 14 sends from everybody. But obviously, with that, the side of the worst pole is not under any pressure on 14. They can afford to save to 15, where Sagittarius and So Close are clearly weaker, and they get some pretty big sends. I mean, sure, there's an 840 send here against the fake one. He's going to leak, like, pretty decently, I think. But Pakistan is very easily going to hold.
Even the 840 send is kind of a weird send because 80 of it is king ups.
True. Yes.
Overall, just a very inconsistent game,
Yeah.
I would say.
So Close leaks massively,
and Sagittarius
91% there. Sagittarius is doing very well, but not quite enough to hold. So that's a 77% for him. They at least have some king upgrades this time. They have 9 king attacks, so I don't think they die here. But they're feeding a lot of gold over to the side of the worst poles.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. The game will almost certainly end on the
18.
Well, actually, they're not pushing, so I guess it'll be 18.
Yeah, nobody really pushing here, actually. Fake one on 20 workers. Something worth mentioning, actually, is it seems that all of the games we've watched so far today have been markedly low workers in the mid game. There was one game where Wackle was pushing into Sagittarius in the first series and vice versa. But that's the only time I think I've seen more than like 30 workers on anyone for the whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. There is some small pushing for Sagittarius in the So Close to Win. And actually, Pakistan RQs ended up pushing about 3 workers there. And delayed decision making.
Yeah. I think maybe, all of these players are probably new to the Nova scene, certainly new to Division 1. And just a little bit of uncertainty, difficulty in making those decisive calls. And I don't hate it. This, Pakistan's in a really good spot. He doesn't want to throw it. He's just playing a little bit cautious. And then post income, when he sees how far overvalue he is, then he decides it's time to push the worker. But he might pay for it here because, as you are correctly pinging, oh, never mind. It looks like the fake one is telling him to rebuild that. So he has got rid of the Fire Lord, and his chieftains will now be buffing the Golem. Will he harden it, though? That's the question.
He actually just pushed another.
Fake one is pinging the harden.
Yeah. Fake one accurately calling that they're getting spent here.
Yeah. He does not harden, however. And
he hardened it?
He hardened it. Hardened. He is flaccid. Meanwhile, Fake one, he's minus 190 with a good build for 17. And Pakistan, despite not hardening, is also pretty strong here on this wave. And, I mean, the Slime Mummies just provide so much value. The 4 Eyes is just 240 million wasted.
It's just this insistence, or I guess hatred of a Kraken or a Ram.
Yeah, or even like an Ogre,
Yeah, even an Ogre.
So they both hold the full sends while So Close leaks the no send. And we have a DC here from Pakistan. Things are starting to get very exciting.
Wow. That's terrifically bad timing as well.
Yeah, the game is over here on wave 18. But we can use this pause well, Kidius. Let's talk about the options for Sagittarius and So Close to Win. If they want to hold here on wave 18 against the 800 Mythium Sends coming out from Fake One and Pakistan, what do they do? We have 3 life binders and no tanks on the side of So Close to Win, but he has got Arctea in his role, so that could be a good answer.
He's got a Phoenix too.
He has Phoenix as well. He doesn't really have a good position for it. He could sell a Tempest. I wouldn't hate that. But honestly, I think in this spot, because he already has 3 life binders, I think he just wants tank value. So I would probably go for like Arctea spam, meaning he builds 2. And for Sagittarius, he doesn't really have any options. And he's playing Chaos, and he hasn't rolled Halo here on 18 somehow. Adams would not be happy with this performance, I don't think.
He's got a Rogue Wave is really good here. He could do Rogue Wave and then Buzz spam too. Just boost that damage.
Yeah, true, actually. The Buzz infinite spam against the Wave. It does deal magic damage. Sagittarius wants to FF. Game automatically unpaused.
We didn't get to send. Oh, we did send. He did send.
He did send. Okay. I can't reply to the players while we're mid-game, so we'll just have to see. But I think the game is ending here against the bot send, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really... Oh, yeah, I definitely don't think this is him. I'm just viewing a Phoenix positioning right now, and
I don't see them surviving this. The Phoenix is going to be okay. There is no 4 eyes, but he's also 1200 undervalue, and Sagittarius, meanwhile, just has absolutely nothing, I feel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 740 Mythium here, 840 Mythium there. The Phoenix is already dead, and this looks like Giga Dead angle.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to a...
We're going to a break.
Either Ternixnius pole matchup.
Yeah.
Go to a break. Throw us to commercial.
We're going to commercials. So yeah, we see Worse Poles winning this 2-1 against For the Don, who are unfortunately now out of the competition, and there will be a last chance match coming up after the break, which will be the Worse Poles versus the other team that we watched earlier.
The Walklinators.
Yeah, pre-round workout, of course, I remember now. All right, Kidius. On that anticlimactic note, with a DC into losing to the bot's end, I think we will let the players have a little bit of a break, and of course rest our overworked vocal cords. So Twitch chat, don't go anywhere. We will be back with the last games of the day in around 10 minutes time. We will see you there. Goodbye.
Never toss a dwarf.
Well, hello there.
Welcome back, Twitch chat. Welcome back. Here I am with Kidius K the Third as we get ready to go into the last chance match here in the day one of May Nova Cup. We're going to have some very, very exciting matches here, Kidius, as we get to watch the worst polls, that is Fake One and Pakistan RQS, and they will be facing up against Pre-Round Workout, who we've seen dominating their matches, that is Turnix Theus, and, of course, the one, the only, the Wocklinator. How are you feeling about this matchup, kid? It might be the closest match we've seen all day.
Yeah, I think we're going to see another 3-game series.
I certainly
really
hope
feels
so.
like it could go. Yeah, it really feels like it could go any direction. I think we'll see maybe some undervalue gameplay, maybe some overvalue game.
Oh,
They're out there playing a little
go
randomly.
either way. Yeah.
Which is pretty terrific, I think, as a viewer to watch. Getting some excitement in, getting some random high level Legion. There's nothing like a Nova Cup Saturday.
Absolutely. I think you're right. I think this should go to a game 3. I think the two teams are fairly evenly matched, judging off what I've seen of their gameplay so far today. I couldn't really call it one way or the other. I think if I had to choose, I would go with my heart and cheer for Polish Elon Musk. Just because he was such a great sport when he was on the caster couch with me a couple of months ago. So I'm going to be cheering for the worst polls here, which means by default, Kidius, you are cheering for Wockle and Turnix Theus. I wish your team good luck.
I think Wackle and Turnix are going to dominate. I think it's going to be 2-0. I think Wackle has proven himself time and time again to be a top 10 player in this video game. I think Turnix Theus is a rising star, and I think Pakistan RQs is going to DC, and they're going to have to forfeit.
That might be their angle.
There you have it.
That might be their angle. Although it didn't quite save the game there for Sagittarius, and so close when Pakistan DC'd in the previous game. So maybe that's just part of their strategy, for the Fake One to just win with a bot.
Yeah, no, it is. I think they gotta affect the DDoS button a little earlier next time. But
no, that makes sense.
In the Nova front.
That makes sense. Do we have a lobby available? It looks like yes.
There is a lobby. Yeah, we're missing.
Turnix Theus is there. Wockle is there. I do need to switch around my scoreboard, so that's worth knowing. Okay, that is done. And the Fake One is here as well, so now we are just waiting for Pakistan, and no sooner said than done. Here he is. We have a full lobby, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get this show on the road. It's hard to type when you have a massive pop filter in front of your face.
Yeah.
but there you go.
There's an Ultra Fergie asking you when the last time you had any spotted dick.
The last time I had spotted dick, probably when I was in high school, maybe university, not sure. What about yourself?
Yeah. You never forget your first spotted dick. I haven't had any.
You haven't had any, so how could you... What do you mean you never forget your first?
Oh, I think I wouldn't forget it if I.
Oh, if you had some, you wouldn't have forgotten it. I see.
Yeah.
Or you're just looking forward to it. So, like, are you waiting for the right one, or what's the hold up over there?
Well, yeah, yeah. I think I just haven't found the right spots.
You haven't found the right spots just yet. Well, you are saved by the bell, Kidius K, because here it is the first game of the last chance match. Pre-round workout on the left versus the worst polls on the right. Let's go.
Oh, we got aggressive spells. Both press the attack and overwork are very good, and Raw Villain is obviously a very strong spell. It's maybe not the defensive utility that one desires. Champion chosen by the Wocklinator. I would say he's got 3 different interesting options between the Zerker champion, the Elite Archer champion. and then really any of the tier 3s you can champion, I would recommend against the Steed. But there's some very strong lines that I've personally found with the Windhawk plus the Sea Serpent as a champion.
Okay.
Additionally, Sea Serpent is much more powerful with a Seedling addition on wave 3. So you have a lot of potential to kind of ramp up those workers, get out a Violet on wave 5, and then you're kind of home free until wave 8, maybe even wave 10. So I wouldn't sleep on that. Fake One has managed to choose into the APS Dread Knight combo, and Pakistan RQs obviously has the Flying Phoenix. So good choices there. What are you thinking?
The Flying Phoenix is pretty juicy. Obviously, the APS Dread Knight is a juicer. It is a bit less powerful than it used to be. Still very strong, of course. We do see the Wocklinator popping his hero straight away on wave 1 onto the Archer, so he's answered that question for us. I think I actually would have leaned towards the Berserker myself in this role. I think it's very good on the Berserker.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think he maybe had some questions on wave 5 if he was going to play the Berserker, but alternatively, you could say you got some big questions on wave 5 if you're playing the Archer role. So
true. But I think the Berserker uses the champion a little bit better than the Archer does, just because, like obviously early game excluded. When you get towards the mid and late game, your Archer, you never want it to tank, right? Whereas the Berserker, you're always going to be using the damage reduction element of the champion as well. So I think it just scales a little bit better in that sense. Obviously, if there's a Tempest involved, then maybe that changes the equation back again towards the Trinity Archer. But as it stands with that role, I would have done the Berserker, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, generally, champion is better when you can sides of it.
Yep.
I don't think that's a bad take from you at all.
Oh, thank you.
Trinixius does receive a King of here. Nothing he can do to kind of punish that. But
no, that's something that I really like to do when I'm sending against a Scallywag opener, is just King up on 2, right? Because they can't push a worker. Or they can, but it's a really bad play because then they just lead to a snail on 3. And quite often as well, when they add that tier 1 to play safe against a snail on 2, then they just have egg on their face, right? Because they've overbuilt, you have sent a king up, and things just go a little bit sad for them at that point.
Yeah. Definitely agree. Wackle did receive the king up. Fake One accidentally kills off his
Tempest
due to the third snail there, but it's not going to matter. He's got enough value.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a special request here from Ultra Fergie in the chat, who would like me to say, not me, not Harmony, you. I don't know what that means though.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got on that for him.
Yeah, it was
nothing
very
that
important.
we wouldn't do for our fans.
Mm-hmm.
Wackle managing to add 2 more Bone Warriors. Would love to see him just shift that 30 gold, because I don't think those Bone Warriors are going to be the difference for him after receiving a 60. So perhaps that 30 gold could have been better put towards Canopy next wave, maybe a Bone Crusher and a Windhawk. You never know. But instead we have 2 additional Bone Warriors.
I mean, Wackle sees this number next to his recommended value, and he's feeling very, very nervous, which I completely understand, by the way, because I would be feeling the same. So I don't blame him for trying to make that red number a little bit smaller.
No, that's so valid. So valid.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Trinixius, I don't think that's enough for a Zeus.
It is, in fact, enough for a Zeus.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. 45 plus 130 is 175.
It is, yeah. I'm glad to see the mathematics education is still going strong across the pond.
Yeah. I'm not a native mathematician, but
okay. Unfortunately,
I think Fake One might really struggle versus this brute.
Yeah, I mean, there's a snail as well. Lest we forget.
Yeah, lest we forget.
No, I
Wackle
think
did
he's pretty
reroll
fine.
it.
Like his Tempest is tanking very, very well there. The Howlers in the split were maximizing their passive ability. I think he's just absolutely chilling. Look, now this Tempest, the one with full HP, is tanking. He's just going to leak. Ah, is there a few creeps stacked? There are, but he's just going to leak a Brute +1. I think he's fine with that, 22%.
22%. Yeah.
And meanwhile, Pakistan will be full covering. Or full holding, at
I'm
least.
actually kind of curious. So a brute is 3 income less. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Thinking about it realistically, how much more value are you getting from that 3 income, whereas you got 8 extra gold from not sending not a brute? I don't know. There's an argument to be made there.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're completely right. And the 8 extra gold versus the 3 income every single wave as well.
Yeah. No, that's. I don't know.
Plus,
A brute resend, by the way, and double robos into a Canopy. Probably not what I would do. I think Canopy tends to struggle a lot more versus a brute. What do you think?
Yeah. Plus, when you have 615 value on the 6th wave with a Canopy and what I assume is 17 Bone Warriors on the field by this point, I think you're just chilling in most cases.
Champion Archer. Also.
That is a champion diff, keeping it alive there. Fake One
but
does
here we go.
lead
Here's
decently to the Brute resend. That is some very sad targeting for him, I'm afraid. That's my lane aggro for sure.
Actually a bit inevitable when you're playing double Tempest and then you have all these extra units. This is a common problem. Would love to see a resend. Oh, we don't see a resend.
He rescendant.
Okay. He rescendant indeed. Resplendent rescendant.
He is resplendent in his rescendancy.
You could be pressuring wave 9. This send in the Wackle really alleviates a lot of the pressure, given that he's playing champion Archer and a Canopy. Archer is traditionally this very weak wave 9 unit because its damage A gets spread out, B is small against the fortified armor, and C because wave 9 has a unique passive that decreases damage taken. So generally when you play Archer you want to pressure wave 8, so I don't hate this. It's kind of disciplined play. Let's see what they end up doing before I compliment it too much,
Speaking of wave 9 though, like as far as I can see, all 4 players are looking fairly garbage on the 9th wave. We'll have to see if one side decides to go for a spicy play there, but no, Pakistan is just going for an income send here on 8, which I actually really don't like, because not only is Turnixtheus very strong here on 8 already, like, I mean, even without the Shadow Dancer that he's just added here, just having the Scallywag and like a stacked Nekomata is going to be enough for him to hold here on 8. And then you're just setting yourself up for failure on wave 9, where both Fake One and Pakistan are already looking markedly weak, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, precisely. And he also adds a Sky Queen and a Slime Larva, which 2 units that are actually really bad on wave 9 as well. So just kind of a lock for which wave he's perhaps supposed to be building here. The Whirlybird will go down. So that's the good news there, is that it'll be slightly longer of a wave. He also opted to send the 40 Power Mercenary. This guy's new. I don't know if you've seen him yet. The Robo.
Ah, the Robert.
Just to make it a bit of a longer mean. Just really guaranteeing that. Yeah, really just trying to guarantee kind of that Wackle predictions get to send their ogres and their Roberts themselves.
Yeah, they really get to shoot their load here on wave 9. 240 Mythium Sends coming out pre-income. It looks like another Brute to boot from Turnixtheus. And Wackle's going to be just shy of that, but maybe he gets a second Robert to send into the mix. Meanwhile, Fake One is pretty close to value, but his value is all bad here. He's going for the second Canopy and a Treant, actually, so pretty good there just for raw tank value. And we do see the Fire Lord here coming down from Pakistan. Will it tank, though? That's the question. It will. Will it survive? That's the follow-up. Yeah, the Seraphim tanking.
Yeah, notably, the Fire Lord is getting maximum damage as a result of that,
Hmm.
or Robert, as you've been calling them. So
True.
it becomes an even better send, or
Yeah.
sorry, worse send, better build for Mr. Pakistan RQs. But yeah, I think this will be some good king damage. Curious to see what the game from week shows here. I think it's probably going to be around 100 for both players, but we'll see.
Oh, let's pop it open. Gold gain from leaks. Let's go.
Yeah, both of them sit right around 110.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Oh, and an Imps resend.
Okay.
Not sure about
that's a
Imps
little
into
bit
this build.
spicy.
I think that Brutes are probably better, but I think that the resend is the correct line.
Hmm. Especially because they have decent worker lead on the side of pre-round workout.
Decent worker lead, and they're strong leading into 12,
Yeah.
so overwork is not actually something that they're afraid of. I like this line.
I wanted to point out as
Uh,
well on the previous wave, Pakistan's Slime Mummy died on like 15 out of 16 mana, and I just think the extra two slimes would probably at least have allowed him to kill the ogre.
Yeah, I mean the Harpy is such a ramping
Yeah.
unit as well.
Well, we do get the resend leak out of Fake One, so that's a 36% for him. Pakistan does hold this time and will be able to fully cover, so that's pretty important. I think if they took more king damage here, things would be starting to look very unfavourable for the worst polls.
And skips all around. Overwork hasn't been taken yet, so I can assume it won't be taken at all.
We have a
Fake One
villain
actually opted to
pick.
stay 13 workers.
Yeah.
Very curious.
I mean, he's economically struggling, I think it's fair to say. He's playing on value, but he wanted to make sure he got his Shadow Dancer down here. And he didn't want to send his Mythium, so well, what are your choices then? You have to stay low workers.
Yeah. And kind of curious if they're going to opt just straight 13. I'm not actually certain that either of them are doing well on 12th.
No, Fake
I
One's
wouldn't
going
have
to be
minded Wacklin.
fine. Fake One's going to be turbo fine on 12. I think he's got Leviathan up already. He probably, without sending, doesn't have the gold for his DK. But the rest of his units are... Obviously, the canopies are bad, but the rest of his units are pretty good.
Yeah. If I'm Wacklin Ternixius, I actually probably almost always click overwork in this scenario instead of 12.
Interesting. Into the double Leviathan circles?
Yeah. I just think that line makes the most sense for them. Because in this way, you're allowing the 13, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Ternixius he has rerolled into his Phoenix, which is a much better and more reasonable answer for him. But I mean, Wackle is going to be stuck boosting, whereas Pakistan RQs is 295 under.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me, he's now 95 under.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there were some questions there for me.
Questions.
Oh wow, Ternixius actually just fully shifted.
Balls of steel on this gentleman. But correctly reading that they were not receiving a wave 12 send here. Does he even hold the no send, actually? Yeah, he does. Easily. Okay, never mind. Forget I said anything.
And it's full send from Ternixius and an income king from Wackle. I like that line. I like that line a lot. I think that's correct.
Very reasonable, actually, when you know for a fact that Pakistan is going to have a double Leviathan buffed Phoenix here on 13. I think that income king is perfectly acceptable here from the Wacklinator. Meanwhile, we have the DK upgraded by Fake One. I am constantly surprised by how good this unit is on 13 since the change. Like, now that the clones are weaker, but the main body itself is stronger, I feel like DK, the fortified Pierce unit, performs remarkably well on wave 13.
Yeah. Noted imps into Phoenix, probably not the best.
Possibly not the best. No, so Ternixius is likely holding as well, or at least leaking.
Yeah.
fairly small.
Also, very strangely, Wackel opted to add a second Drake after his send
Okay,
instead of just
post-income
doing some
Drake.
king ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he holds, and
So
Turnix Theus holds, so pre-round workout looking strong. Fake One, meanwhile, he does leak a decent amount there, but Pakistan is able to fully cover, of course.
yeah,
So
I
this,
think we'll see some fires. Yeah.
yeah, both on fire. This is one of those where had Pakistan and Fake One maybe just felt solid enough with their Phoenix build on 13, they could have either skipped and then put some real pressure on 14, 15, or just gone for an income king line, right? But they went for the full send, Turnix Theus and Wackel both held, and now things are starting to look very, very rough on the side of the worst poles. In fact, Jules is only giving
Yeah.
them a 20% chance to redeem this one.
Yeah. And given the lack of pushing from every player, it'll probably be 16. I wouldn't have minded Ternixius and Wackel just pushing for 15, recognizing that the fake one is fully out of the game regardless of if he pushes or not.
Yeah.
But this isn't a terrible line either.
Yeah. Speaking of the no push, we at least have a sizable worker lead on the side of pre-round workout, who have gone up to the dizzying heights of 24 workers. So applying a decent amount more pressure than the worst poles are, at least. And with pretty strong builds, it has to be said, for Turnix Theus and Wackel. I mean, this game feels like it's in the palm of their hand. I don't really see an excellent line remaining for the worst poles. Maybe if Turnix Theus and Wackel go for a 16 send and they're able to somehow pull off a miracle hold, then they can apply some pressure on 17 perhaps, but I don't know.
Yeah. Pakistan RQs actually opted to go for 3 alpha males here. I think the Phoenix is actually just better both on 15 and 16, which are the 2 waves in question. So kind of interesting. I could see a line in which, maybe they income king here and then fake one suicide for 18. Could be a potential play.
Well,
but it looks like they're just gonna watch the fake one leak to no send.
I think he's gonna hold here, kid. Oh, look at that
Whoa!
clutch hold there from the fake one. And they do go for the income king line that you mentioned. They're receiving relatively large sends here on 16, with a double witch mole coming out from Turnix Theus, double four eyes and a Robert coming out from the Wackler. We do get that second Phoenix that you were asking for coming out here from Pakistan, who actually has a very strong build for Wave 16, it has to be said. He might just surprise us and perform very well here.
I think he's going to do decently. I think they'll live here, and then I think it's just fake one suicides. And unfortunately, Trinixius does have 3 Phoenixes himself, but he doesn't have a great way to deal with Kraken. So.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about this happening. So the third column Phoenix just turbo ran it down here, tanking the entire wave and the four eyes. And the second one is getting 0 value because it tanked nothing, so it doesn't use its passive. It does now, but it's kind of too little too late. Meanwhile, Fake One leaks 100%. Pakistan, he leaks 81. It's mainly just the send, but this is still going to represent a large amount of damage here on wave 16, if not death.
A large amount of damage and a large amount of gold.
Yeah, thanks, Bert.
These in-between changes... these in-between sends between kind of winning the game and the next movement are big. That's 300 gold that both Wackel and Ternixius just got.
Yeah. And if we look at this gold gain from leaks now, 567 gold from Turnix Theus, 525 from Wackel. Meanwhile, pre-round workout haven't leaked a single creep between them in 16 waves of high-octane gameplay. What do you think about that, Kidius?
High octane indeed. High octane indeed. I'm kind of curious to see how the fake one does next wave. Although the way that Wackle and Phoenixia are kind of shifting gold here makes me feel like perhaps they're just going straight 19.
Yeah.
Um,
Pakistan was also shifting a little bit of gold here, so trying to bait out that wave 18 send where he's really strong. But to be honest, I think even if Wackle and Turnix Fears do take the bait, which I doubt they will, they're just going to win. So, you know, how good of a bait is it when you die there?
yeah. I mean, you did bait him into sending.
Oh, well, Pakistan is leaking to no send, and he's the team's holder. So, interesting.
Yeah. Not sure that it matters.
No. Turnix Theus and Wackle, they do not take the bait regardless.
Curious to see if Wackle even boosts here. No, he's building a Haven.
Yeah, and another
Right.
Orchid.
Fake one is in the red. Pakistan Arcus is very close to the red. So I think this game is
Dunzo.
super over.
The
And Ternixia has actually ended up with kind of a crazy little build here, just abusing his tier 2s and tier 6s.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
And shifting 230 gold for fun. Very good. So yeah, what do you think needs to change in game 2 here?
I don't know. Like maybe they could just play a little better. Might be something to think about. But what did they? I probably need to check the post-game screen to work out what went wrong. But I mean, yeah, Fake One's leaking 50% to no send here. This is what I mean. Like if they had taken the bait, they just would have definitely won the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I'd like to see the worst polls maybe push more workers, ideally while leaking less to income sends. That could work.
Yeah, I think the fake one leaking 5 into 6, and then their wave 9, you know, where they created that incredibly long wave 8, and then both of them leaked. You know, I think it was a full ogre and a bit more.
Yeah. It was a full ogre from Fake One. It was half an ogre from Pakistan, and yeah, that was probably where the game first pulled away in a meaningful way for the pre-round workout. But since that, like basically the entire mid to late game, the side of Wackle and Turnix Theus have just been comfortably ahead. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, particularly after they held the 13 send.
Yeah.
Wow, these wave 19 creeps sure attack quickly now.
They sure do, buddy. They sure do. Now, Fake One is, it has to be said, doing remarkably well with his DKs and his APSs and his tree ant spam, but it is not enough. This is 66% from Pakistan, 50% from the Fake One, and that will be all she wrote. Game 1 going in favour of the pre-round workout. Let's go!
Let's go.
Victory.
Alright. If we take a look at the graph, actually, so the worst polls were, according to Jules at least, ahead for the entire early game. All the way up to wave 6, where they had a pretty sizable lead. So what happened on 6? There was a leak from Fake One.
I think the majority of that is just the cartel versus champion lock-in difference.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we saw this leak on 9 that you mentioned. They dropped 40% King HP. There's even a re-leak on 10. Then all of the players cringe a little bit. Turnix Theus easy snacking the 600 send on 13. And Wackle as well, meaning yet more damage taken by Fake One. At which point he is just out of the game, right? Then on wave 16 he leaks 100%. They barely stay alive, but there's just no chance for them when it comes to wave 19. And Wackle and Turnix Theus both easily holding there. So 1-0 Kidius going in favour of the pre-round workout. I would really like to see a game 3 here, because even though we hopped into one part where we haven't actually seen a 3-game series go all the way here on the stream, so that would be pretty spicy. So I'm definitely cheering for my Polish buddies, Fake One and Pakistan, to come back here in game number 2 and at least give us a bit of a show for the stream. What do you think?
There's nothing wrong with game 3. I think that unfortunately, depending on your perspective, I've been locked into voting for Trinixius and Mr. Wackel.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
going to have to
Wackel
disagree with you. It's going to be a 2-0.
Turnix Theus, by the way, always picking Megamind in the first game of his series so far. Bit of a beast.
Oh,
Bit of a beast.
I think he's going to lock in Castle this game.
Oh, yeah, he is a castle enjoyer, it seems.
Oh, and it looks like they might be switching up the teams.
Okie dokie. All right, yeah. Wackel deciding he wants to play with the Fake One this time, and Pakistan deciding to join us on the caster's couch.
Yeah, a little 2v1, and then we get
Yeah.
3 talking about it. This is what the people came to watch.
Wackel bathroom break. Okay, well, on that exciting bombshell, kid, if you were the coach for the worst polls and you had to give them some last minute sage advice, some words of wisdom, as they're clearly feeling the pressure here in the last chance match of the Nova Cup, what do you say to your team to rile them up and give them some pointers for the next all-important game? They cannot afford to lose this one, kid.
Yeah, I'd probably just say, it's time to lock in, get serious, and maybe consider your actions more actively. Think about what's going to occur after the things that you choose to do.
Okay.
What I'm picking up on noticing from watching them is it feels like they identify a goal, but in doing so, they perhaps aren't considering what their opponent's goal is in the game or what they maybe want to do after that. You see it in that long save to 13. You see it in that send on wave 8 that got extended by sending a robo as well. So
yeah, that wave 8 send, I think we both picked up on it in the previous game as a blunder from Pakistan, right? Because not only was he relieving pressure from his opponent, because everyone was weak on 9, right? All 4 players are weak on 9. So not only was he relieving pressure from his opponent's weak wave, he was just setting himself up for a fall on 9, because Fake One and Pakistan were both like garbage builds on the 9th wave. So why would you then try to make wave 8 even longer? It's a little bit of an unforced error there on their part. Because if he hadn't done that, if he either saved or just went pure, income king, which I still think wasn't ideal there on 8, but at least the wave would have been a little bit quicker, and maybe he receives 20 Mythium less, and maybe that 20 Mythium less is like a robo instead of a brute or something. These things, they add up. They do make a difference.
no, yeah. Not only do they add up, but they matter. They really matter. I mean, you can call these things small mistakes, but that is where they lost the game.
Yeah.
Very definitionally.
Yeah. And then by the time we reached the mid game, things already felt super, super rough for the worst poles, right? So it became very hard.
They didn't really have an option, forcing themselves into sending into Trinixius' shifts. Maybe they hoped that there was a gate, because that's the only reasonable wave 13 answer that those imps were good into. So, yeah.
Maybe.
All right. I think we're going to see Castle from Trinixius, Greed or Cartel from Wackel, and I have no idea for your team.
Yeah, I mean, I come on, team, let's lock it in. Game number 2, you have to win this one if you want to have a chance of staying in the Nova Cup. Pakistan and Fake One, he starts with a DC here in game number 2.
Kind of huge. Oh, did Wackel play Cash Out last game?
No. Wackel was champion.
Okay, good shout. Yeah, champion archer.
Trinixius
going
has
double lock-in.
selected
Butcher Nightmare.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I mean, villain with the Butcher Nightmare, incredibly powerful.
Pulverizer too.
And
Both
Pulverizer
solid
is
options.
probably the second best. I think that Butcher Nightmare is identifiably weak now. Post the Wave 15 and Wave 18, and even 19 changes. I mean, Doppel Butcher was never very strong on Wave 19. So, curious to see how that'll turn out. He does have the Lord of Death, of course, as an option. Wackle just kind of has an average role, I would say. There's not a lot of synergy there, but he has multiple
very
options for
playable,
strong
though.
5-worker starts. And
Yeah. I think it's very playable. I think I would go with like a gate guard start here. I think he has very good options. Like you say, it's kind of a no synergy role, but I think the early game is very strong.
Yeah, you're looking at 8 or 9 workers by wave 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Pretty much guaranteed, no matter what the opponent does.
Mm-hmm.
Pakistan, our Qs opt for Castle into the Slime Mama. He did have a Disciple in there and chose to not take it. Went for the Halo instead. Not sure how I feel about that. I think Halo is very good. It is strong with Pulverizer, I guess. But I feel like Disciple just solved so many problems just throughout the entire game. So.
Oh, this is an interesting opener here from the fake one, going for the False Maiden double Angular start. That's one that we've not seen for a little while, since Wibberman hasn't been streaming lately.
Yeah, I've always been a proponent of this start. I think it's one of the 2 playable double Angler starts. And he does have the Infiltrator, which is very powerful in this role. Typically, you need kind of one of the Infiltrator, the Desert Pilgrim, the Green Devil for your Wave 5, because Mask is kind of a bad unit there. But
yeah.
Wackle actually opted to do the Bazooka Flower.
Interesting. That's probably not the way that I would have played this role, but we'll let the man cook, I think.
Yeah. And not only is it Bazooka Flower, but it appears the Bazooka is not going to be tanking.
Oh, it did tank one creep, though.
Yeah. Not even sure if it tanks on Wave 5 with this positioning.
It
certainly won't when it gets upgraded to Zeus.
Yeah.
Something to keep an eye on. And everybody saves their Mythium except the fake one. Wackle does go the 6 workers. I think that's correct. Pakistan goes Howlers. I like that. I think that's correct. And the Witherspoon, of course. So yeah, all the builds are transitioning relatively normally. Obviously, Tunixius staying at 7 income is suboptimal. But receiving the snail here, you kind of have the decision. This is a minor inflection point in this build of like, do I go to 6 workers? Do I go to 7 workers? Do I stay at 5 workers? Looks like he's just going to stay at 5. I would have gone to 6 personally, and you just kind of accept that you will be leaking on wave 5 some small portion. But the waves are relatively fast. I mean, the Slime Siren wave is not quick, but
yeah,
you know you're being sent by a 5-worker bounty hunter player. I don't know.
Now, the Waplanator is receiving a massive 80 Mythium send probably here from Pakistan on wave 4, but with this elite archer he should just be absolutely fine. And actually it looks like Pakistan is saving the last 20 Mythium, so that's a small victory there for the side of the worst poles.
Yeah. Full send into the fake one. Don't love that. I feel like you can just assume that it's going to be a bounty hunter, and regardless, the false maiden basically solos wave 4.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if he...
in a moment of intrigue.
I wonder if he wants to upgrade the second bounty hunter as well. It looks like no.
Yeah, he did go to 6 workers. So it's probably just an infiltrator and hits the boost button twice, but... Turnixius, by the way, can't afford a butcher.
Yeah, because he's playing double lock-in with no income.
and 510 value.
Impressive. Did he make the Green Devil on wave 4? He did.
He did, yeah.
Nice.
After receiving a 20 from the Angler player. So very aggressive from
Yeah.
him. Curious to see where that ends up.
Samurai Soul also Wanderer, probably one of the worst units you can play with Nightmare. Because this is what happens
Yeah,
when it dies.
yeah.
The Nightmare dies. Like, he's fine against a Dino King up, but I think even with 510 value, if he'd received a proper send here, he could have leaked decently.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there'll be some problems. Getting this Hellraiser here makes his life so much easier.
Yeah.
Pretty much no matter what happens, he gets the Bounty Hunter next wave and
Yeah.
then just gets a Kingpin and he's super fine.
Yeah, his game is kind of
that build.
playing itself decently here. Although this Angler that he added on wave 1 has been sat on full mana since wave 3 or thereabouts, which, you know, it's not massive in the big grand scheme of things, but I just don't like it, you know? Just don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's probably what you have to do. But also, by the way, he didn't raise his split, so his Hellraiser does just die here.
Yeah. So if there had been a send, he would have leaked
Notably,
bigly, I think.
yeah, bigly, hugely.
Hugely. The biggest
Because-
leaks.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Wow.
Das Wackler.
And he's managing to play weak split, flower, elite archer, double gate guard.
Yeah. Leaking
Which is
to
it's hard.
Leaking to a Dino King up on 6 with 2 gate guards is pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that goes ahead and that does give what is that, 14 gold to Mr. Pakistan.
Not too shabby. Not
Who
too
will use
shabby.
it to build a
And
Sunfang and a
another
Howler with
Yeah.
the double brute send. I do like this double brute send. I think it decently.
Yeah. I think he's got enough meat on the board, though, for his Slime Mommy to reach full mana. Problem is, the positioning on that bad boy means that when it dies, both of the Sea Dragons will just instantly die as well before the Slimes respawn.
Yeah, typically you want to place your Slime Siren in that second.
Yeah. But that makes it way less likely to get full mana as well, so swings and roundabouts.
Yeah,
I just don't like the unit.
there's a mix. Yeah, it's just a tough one to make work in any games where power mercs are being sent.
Yeah. Now, 78% leak there from Pakistan, who also has the lowest workers in the game. Does feed a couple of stonks to the fake ones, bounty hunters, so that's something, at least, a silver lining in this cloudy day that the worst polls seem to be enjoying. And there is a resend here coming out from Turnix Theus against Pakistan here on wave 8, who honestly is not looking great on this wave. Second Slime Mommy is built. Should do okay, but honestly the build looks bad.
Yeah, and you know something that we actually haven't touched on, but is probably pretty important to think about is Turnixtius is actually just playing Forsaken.
Yeah, he is. He has a full Forsaken role. He's missing...
What's the tier 3?
Yeah, what's the tier 3 for Forsaken? The Gate Guard, but his teammate has
The
it
gate
instead.
guard. Oh, yes.
His teammate has it instead.
A big save coming in here. Gonna be ideally just ogres, I think,
Yeah.
for both.
Okay. I mean, there's Ogre number 1. And
Yeah,
we
we're
have...
feeding a little more gold, unfortunately.
Yeah, Slime Mommy did pop off in time to save at least one of the Sea Dragons this time, but it doesn't matter. They don't kill another creep, so that's a 51% leak there for Pakistan against income again. But it does at least guarantee his Ogre, if that's what he wants to send. I might be tempted for a Mole Hermit here, honestly, against the Wocklinator, just expecting this Death Cap to come out.
Yeah,
And
you know,
he
it's
goes for the save instead.
yeah, I think there were a lot of really good options there, and that wasn't one of them.
Having said that, though, Wackle is looking turbo bad on the 10th wave, so I can see that being a line, and Pakistan understanding that he's having a bit of a rough game and just wanting to pile on the pressure for Wackle, maybe allow the fake one to carry this game.
Yeah, and honestly, Pakistan is not having that rough of a game. He's just castle. I don't mind kind of, accelerate or decelerating the game state in that way.
Meanwhile, with the 280 Mythium send, Turnix Theus, he's on 1130 value, but I don't think it's going to be enough, even with that headshot, which is really good on 9. Still going to be a sizable leak here for Turnix Theus. That's a 74%er. Wackle will be able to fully cover this, though.
Yeah,
that's a number of
Something that's kind of fun to note here is if you look at the mercenary damage, so the Robos do roughly, 20% of the damage that an ogre does, which the math checks out there. That's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah. Curious.
Anyways, 320 walking into Wackle's lane here. He's not going to do well. Trinity Archers, maybe the worst thing that you could possibly build here. You're kind of just praying that you do end up killing either the ram or the ogre mole that you're receiving here.
Yeah.
But the Trinity Archer is just going to spill damage over to those units. It's going to be all split, and then you also have the Death Cap that's just spilling damage over there. So, not in love with Trinity Archer.
The mole is getting one shot though, so that's 120 Mythium that isn't achieving very much whatsoever. We did get a double brute send into Turnix, who wisely stayed on very high value here to cover for his teammate. Speaking of his teammate, Wackle is going for a bit of a leak here on wave 10. That's
actually,
77%.
The fake one is also leaking here. He really didn't need to push as he did. He ended up adding 160 and infiltrators when he could have just gotten the third kingpin and been full covering, full clearing.
And that turns what would have been a good trade into like really not great actually for the worst polls, because not only was it a 25 gold shutdown, but it was also a wave where he needed to kind of cover for his teammate, and as a result they've lost 30% king HP, and of course the 25 gold shutdown. So
I don't hate this scenario. What they're essentially doing right now is forcing this 13 line as well, where they both have really great tools, and Wackle and Turnix have decent as well, but if you can just kind of income king there and maybe take some regen, and then just really press the income advantage that both of you should have, this should be okay for the polls.
Yeah. I mean, I think Turnix actually can be a bit of a beast on 13. He has the villain lifesteal doppelganger, which is pretty scary, actually, on the 13th wave. And he also has, like, good tanks to go with that. So I think he might surprise you on 13, Kidius.
Oh, I don't think that they should ever be sending for leaks on 13. I think it's just an income king.
Okay. Reasonable.
Yeah.
Fake One is back on fire again here on 12, thanks to his Kingpin power spikes. I mean, that's a mechanic that we all just know and love.
The Kingpin power spike.
Kingpin power spike, shutdown. Yeah. Pakistan still at the bottom of the scoreboard despite his castle power spike kicking in. But I think is it around wave 14 where things even out with castle? Like, how does the simple math work on that one?
I heard, yeah. What I heard. And really he's not that far below Turnix, who has been collecting, 2 income away?
Yeah. One income from the double lock.
One income. So it's actually already balanced out. Oh, and they're sending.
Yeah, here come the 4 eyes on 13.
Sure if not sure if I'm in love with this line or not. I do think that Turnix could leak quite a bit here. That's just not a lot of value, especially if they skip. And they do skip, so...
They do skip,
The Bulls making the probably correct decision here. I don't think this Phoenix takes anything.
They might. I think it might. I don't know if the bazooka changes things. But I think this
Yeah.
Phoenix might actually tank quite nicely. Let's keep eyes on this one. Crucially though, there is no second Four Eyes coming out from Pakistan. So if it does tank wave creeps, I think he's just got a very easy hold, right?
Yeah.
Let's
Gander.
watch the Phoenix. Yeah, beast mode. Beast mode.
Yeah, it takes very well.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
and it'll actually
Turnixius-
continue to tank the Robo after.
Oh, that's a juicer.
Yeah, so Turnixius is leaking.
Turnixius is leaking, but Wackle is
I believe.
easily holding, like it's not even remotely close to him. And Turnixius is
Yeah.
not even doing too badly, honestly. He's going to kill one more here. Yeah, now the
Oh,
Doppel
yeah,
goes
he actually-
down.
He added on the Tree of Life.
Oh, what a beast.
His doppelganger tanked 7,182 damage.
Impressive. How much damage did the Phoenix tank?
Let me see if I can select that. Phoenix. The Phoenix managed to tank 6,821 damage.
Also, the Doppel actually tanked more. That's interesting.
Yeah, just a bit more. The Phoenix did do about 2 times more damage.
Okay, okay.
11,000 damage versus about 6,000.
Reasonable, reasonable. Alright. Meanwhile, Turnixthers and Wackle, they are saving their Mythium. They now have almost 600 each on that team, and I have to assume it will be 16 send at this point? Against Pakistan and Fake One? What do you think?
I think is probably a logical call out. Fake One is literally plus value stuff. But it appears that it will be 50.
Okay, this feels like an error, but maybe the worst polls then, they do still see it coming. They are going to go for the Income King play. I thought maybe they'd be caught unawares, but these units, Kitty SK, these units on the 15th wave, oh boy.
Yeah, very powerful. There's no Witch. There is a Needler. Needler quite strong versus these units, but
if I were to give Pakistan some tips on this wave, it would be if you have like 600 value in Lifebinders, maybe don't spend another 500 on a random Arc of Justice when you could maybe build a couple of tanks instead. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
yeah, not sure he needs your tips because honestly, I think he's just holding either way.
440 value with a 700 send. I don't know. The Needler is chewing on the slime mummies. Only one of them reached full mana. In fact, only none of them reached full
Oh,
mana.
none of them reached full
Yeah.
mana there.
He in fact holdn't. Regardless, Kidius, if you
He
would maybe
holdn't indeed.
like to retract your earlier
Right.
statement.
I would be happy to retract. Stranixius is dead in the water.
68%
so
gets
we'll be
the
17
income
next.
send. Fake One, he does leak here, but it's only a low HP 4 Eyes. This is a little bit sad there for Pakistan. He was very, very close to killing that boss. It has healed a little bit now, but not too much king damage taken here on the 15th wave.
Not too much indeed.
But still, pre-round workout, full king HP. Although we are definitely getting into that stage of the game where a decently sized leak can one-shot your king, right? Regardless of king upgrades. So we'll have to see how things go as we progress into this late to ultra late game stage. Turnixtheus is pretty far undervalued already, despite only having 23.3 recurring, of course, workers. Fake One is in the lead, still on fire. In fact, his shutdown has increased now. He's on 100. And as you rightfully point out, Wackle is full pushing, suggesting perhaps a spicy wave 17 send.
Yeah. Fake One does prep one more mask for it, but I think we're definitely going to see 17.
Yeah, I would think so. And I would think as well, if I was the worst polls and see these numbers here, I would probably want to send myself on the 17th wave.
Yeah, I suspect so. Honestly, Wackle doesn't look great there. Pernictius looks very strong there, but he's down here, so matters very little. And they do
Well.
skip.
They do skip.
Uh,
So the fake one did shift about 350 gold on the previous wave. So just thinking he can build instead, which is obviously a valid option. He is dropping a chieftain here to buff a wild shroom, which is cool, I guess.
yeah, that's definitely a choice.
He could have made a boar instead, which is slightly better, I think. But
on
I
wave
don't know,
17?
especially because this wild shroom guarantees that both of his tantrumed Hellraisers will die very quickly.
Yeah. In his defense, he is receiving double, which are pretty
Yeah.
bad versus everything on his board.
True, but yeah, the tantrum Hellraisers, they're dead now.
Yeah.
But he also has 2 Doomsdays and
Really,
2
yeah.
Kingpins, so maybe it's just
No,
moot.
it's kind of looking like, yeah, it's almost despite his best efforts, he's
Yeah.
holding.
He tried not to. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
we have
Um,
Pakistan doing pretty well, but not quite holding. Oh wait, the
Turkey.
Four Eyes is going to overpower. Oh, that's a 75 gold
Whoa.
shutdown.
That is crazy.
That is
Um,
crazy, bro.
They should just end here.
They do send here. We have Kraken and a Shaman coming out from the fake one. We have a Four Eyes and a Kraken coming out from Pakistan. And Turnix Theus, I don't think you're holding this wave, my friend, even though you have Villain here on your doppelganger. He's also adding a Nightmare here for wave 18.
I think
Okay.
he's in a nightmare.
He
Sending
might-
finally he sent the GK.
Oh, that's a juicer.
Yeah.
Fake one.
Funnily enough, go ahead.
Fake one, I think, can hold here, even against the Ghost Knight. Given that he's on value with like predominantly good units for the wave.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. Wackle's doing pretty good. Managed to kill his first Phoenix and his second.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good start. The Iron Scales is tanking pretty well against the Four Eyes and the Robos, though. Meanwhile, Turnix Theus, he is leaking. That's 114% there. The Wocklinator, that's 129%. And I think, kid, we might be about to see our first game number 3 live on stream.
The big one.
Oh,
Absolutely carrying this game.
yeah,
Very well done from him.
juicer.
Juicer.
Yeah, that's a clear 100%. I think they would have killed the king twice there on wave 18.
They just might have.
Oh, very back and forth game, it has to be said. If we take a quick look at the graph there, you can see a lot of back and forward play with Jules' win chance probability all over the shop until an eventual crushing victory here on wave 18 from the worst polls. They were playing Castle and Greed, so we can take those ones out of the pool. And I think just judging off that one, kid, because game number 1 felt pretty one-sided, right? But here in game number 2, certainly the worst polls brought their A game, I think. And that gives me a lot of positivity, I think, for game number 3, because this one can go either way for sure, and that makes things a bit spicy.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that game is that Turnixius' mouse slipped and he accidentally chose the worst mastermind in the game.
Oh, you're
double
right.
lock-in.
Yeah.
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 Hopefully he'll figure it out this time and not choose that one. But there's really no way to know.
Although with Conquest format, you only lose the ability to play a mastermind when you win with it, so he can pick it again if he wants to.
No, I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Ideally,
we'll have to see what he goes
ideally
for.
the mouse slip won't happen. Who is the Turnixius teammate name again?
It is Wackle.
The Wocklinator.
Quite a hard one to remember, to be fair.
Yeah. All right, everybody's been invited. The fake one said ready in 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm just going to pop a ready when you are, and then we can continue to talk about the game. So clearly, our post-game one locker room chat with Fake One and Pakistan RQS was successful. So the sage words of wisdom we left there of lock it up, play better, push more workers, leak less. It did prove to be fruitful there in game number 2. They were able to take that one to victory. So now, Kidius, you're back in the locker room, this time getting sweaty with Turnix, Theus and Wackle, as I'm sure everyone in the Twitch chat is dreaming of. What do you say to these guys now? They had the game in the hands, you know. They had the 1-0 lead, and now they're back to square one, and their tournament life is on the line. They need to win this game. What do you tell to your team, kid?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of kind of committing to your lines and having some confidence. Maybe applying some pressure yourselves. I think that game they both got caught a bit unawares. The Wave 10 sends from Pakistan are Qs, obviously very successful, and the Wave 9 send against Turnixius. Maybe, appropriately applying pressure where you need to pressure, maintaining your income, having faith in your ability to make the correct mid-game calls, and just commit to your lines. I think that's one of the biggest things that I would tell either team is just if you're gonna send somewhere, make sure that you're sending hard, and if you're not gonna send, then don't push. Just I'm sick of these half plays.
Reasonable. Okay, coach, your team is all riled up. Let's see if they can put those words of wisdom into play as we go into everything to play for now. Game number 3. Let's go.
Yeah, it's cash out. An excellent cash out roll here. Really have the tools to do pretty much anything in the game.
Yeah, I mean he has Gatling gun and Gargoyle, so his early game I feel like is locked up.
Yeah, he's got Gatling gun and Gargoyle. He's got flying LOD, flying Phoenix. Obviously, the Tempest meshes very well with any of Poliwags, Seraphins. So always pleased to see that. There's a Sorcerer in the game, so he's probably not going to be able to take advantage of that. So he does opt for the gun rule.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute
Cartel
juicer.
and Castle.
I think particularly in cash out, this is even stronger than it is normally because obviously you get the 5th worker on wave 1 with your cash out gold. You can easily go to 6 workers because you have the Gargoyle for wave 3. I think this is a very solid roll here from Pakistan.
Yeah. Wackle has found himself a mediocre Poto roll, and Turnixius has, in fact, re-rolled and hit. And my goodness, has he hit. Tanks, an Archer, a reasonable answer on wave 9. I don't think there's much more you could ask for in a Castle Sorcerer game.
Yeah, and that's pretty juicy. And he's got the Berserker, of course, to cover wave 13 and 18. I think he's got a very playable role.
Yeah. Some might say 2 playable,
2 playable.
Distracted by a plethora of options. Hopefully he can focus in. Kind of an interesting question here, and I'll frame it to you. If you're the fake one right now, do you ever build this Gargoyle?
Oh, because you're Chaos? I mean, I think for starters, I would not be Chaos.
That's a great point. Maybe you accidentally hit the Megamind button.
Yeah, like accidentally hit Chaos with Megamind. Then I probably still wouldn't. And he didn't. So, but he's also not going 5 workers. Oh no, he did. Sorry, he just waited a little while.
Just gonna need some brain delay sometimes. Yeah. Pakistan RQ is also opting to only stay 5 workers despite having the Gargoyle unit.
That's questionable at best, I think, Kidius.
Yeah, at best, and oftentimes we are at our worst. Wackle choosing to be 5 workers as well. Really, the only player who has any excuse to be 5 workers is actually Turnixius. But
Yeah, well, he also is 5 workers.
He's castle.
So,
Yeah.
all right, let's see if Pakistan is able to hold both of these snails with his double gargoyle Gatling gun build. Oh,
I think he just might. He's saving Mythium into Wackle. Quite brilliantly stayed 5 workers and put out a warg, and now went to 6 workers. So
interesting.
curious to see where that puts him gold wise.
Yeah.
Um,
It is good to see that Pakistan did add that second gargoyle instead of going an extra worker, because he actually lost one of the gargoyles here on wave 3.
yeah, and everybody knows a gargoyle by itself is a very sad thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so a double DT here actually could do some damage. Wackle does only add the 60 because he did go that 6 worker, like I was mentioning. Even though he is cartel, it does actually matter.
Yeah. Pakistan can
so
add a snail
curious to
here as
see it.
well.
Yeah,
does.
he should, and he does.
He should and he does.
So these double DTs will go right on towards this priestess of the abyss.
The Nekomata Tankums as well. So the Poter of the Abyss looks like she is dead. Oh,
Yep.
that was close. I thought it was just about to heal there. You know.
Yeah, it was right on the edge.
Yeah.
A little tease, if you
46%.
will. So Wackle, not only does he go 5 workers on wave 3, but then he gets punished by pushing his 6th worker on wave 4. And that feeds over a total of 11 gold with Pakistan RQS, which he will use to build himself a Green Devil. Fake One does very skillfully, as one might say, build his Treant on wave 5. Probably just going to add 2 more stacks to his cat, I would imagine. It'd be really weird if he shifted 60 gold with a Berserker.
Okay, he does.
There we go.
Yeah. He had me worried there for a second.
Oh, he actually flubs the 5th snail. 5 snails is the golden number on Elite Archer wave 5. In order to get that snail onto the Elite Archer, could have killed it. So a bit unfortunate for him.
Just barely surviving there. The lack of the 5th snail. Critical here on wave 5.
And Fake One will actually hold, or maybe not hold.
Yeah, he's leaking
Very
low
close.
HP brute. It's kind of fine.
Yeah.
He also has the highest workers in the game now with a dizzy 9 at the end of wave 5.
Dizzying. Dazzling.
Dazzling.
It's I wish this was a
Razzle-dazzling.
brute from him. I really wish this was a brute from him.
Yeah, it's actually 3 snails though, which is not a brute.
No. I often make that mistake myself. Both do impact damage, but
Yeah.
Pakistan RQS. RQs, I need to decide how I'm going to say that. Should be fine here.
Against the no send, yeah, I
the
think he's going to
no-send.
be okay.
Although I worry about that gun positioning like that, but it looks like he actually opted to not take anything with the gun. Quite a brilliant display of positioning mastery.
I think the gun
But
is actually
Wackle
much
should
easier.
lead you.
Much
The tank
easier to
whip.
defend that gun on wave 6 now with the more consistent pathing patch.
Yeah. A lot of people complain about the pathing patch. I think when it first came out, it was pretty bad. But the recent kind of additions to it have been good. I think.
Credit where due. Credit where due.
Yeah. Wackle was 5 gold off the Azaria. Regardless, go for the banana bug. Azaria obviously can leak quite heavily if that's your only unit to something like Fruit, something like a Mimic. So don't hate it. Fake One pulling ahead and actually opted to save his Mythium into Ternixius here. Maybe a bit of a misplay. Gets bailed out by the fact that he does get sent here, but if he gets skipped, that means that he can't hit that wave 9 for Ternixius. So something to keep an eye on. Pakistan RQs obviously doing very well. Somehow targeting the Cannoneer. Does he have a buzz in his name? No. That's odd. Don't know if you caught that.
Hmm.
And the fake one is going to leak. But
Very
he did
small,
not
though.
push a single worker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
18%
I'd imagine
for it.
he's going to add probably the Nightmare. Not really sure what his best response is right here. Ooh, and he actually gets skipped. That's pretty nice. Whoa. APS, 3-stack kitten. Have yourself a day.
Wow. I mean, he's easily going to
Um,
hold here on wave 8, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure.
I guess he just needs to roll gate for wave 9, right? That's what a good Chaos player would do.
Probably. I think he's going to be okay just building the upgraded tree. What is it? The Tree of Knowledge? Tree of Life? I always forget. But he is hitting his ogre.
Oh, he
into,
somehow
Mr.
didn't roll the
Pernicious.
gate on wave 9. That's a bit of an error, I think, for the Chaos player. But yeah, the
Yeah,
ogre here
the-
should do work.
Yeah, I think the ogre is really good. Probably going to see double pack leader from both Wackle and Trinixius.
Nope, double brute.
All right, they've decided the brutes are better than pack leaders. Not really sure why. To be frank, not sure what they think they're targeting.
It's the first time we've seen this bad boy, Kidius. The Oathbreaker final
this is very
form.
good. He does need a tier. Yeah, you need something in the third column, but now this Oathbreaker is going to go crazy.
Mhm.
And actually, if you mouse over it, it says Crab with 100,000 HP.
That's
So-
insane.
Pretty good.
That's insane. I mean,
Um,
this thing can certainly pop off, right? Let's keep eyes on this Oathbreaker because I think it's an absolute beast of a unit.
yeah.
200
Yeah.
lithium send, only one of the brutes are going onto it. It's about to pop off. Here it goes! Oh! Look at
Wow.
this. It is still dying though. I guess it can't quite hold the half the wave plus a brute. It did a ton of
Yeah.
damage though. But meanwhile,
did
Turnix Theus,
roughly
83%, leaking a super low HP
3,000.
Ogre. That's quite sad for him. And
Yeah.
we have a
Oh.
Waldo Wackle coming out here, leaking 38% against the
Not
Cannoneer
good
and Snail.
news.
Mm.
And the double brutes in the pack stand does get him, but just barely.
Yep.
So looking good for our Polish friends.
Yeah, I think the worst Poles certainly come out ahead of this trade. They're going to deal quite a bit more king damage, it seems. And they also have the worker lead. Only by one, mind, but it's more than nothing.
And the fake one has found a partner to his APS.
Nice, that was very skillfully rolled there. He also has like a middle spot here if he rolls something like a Butcher or an Ocean Templar, you know? Like, he's got options.
Yeah. And it actually looks like he's going to just click the Creditor button next wave
Yeah, that's certainly an option for him.
with these units, I think. When you're playing the Oathbreaker and you've got an APS Shadow Dancer, I think
Yeah.
Creditor makes a lot of sense here. And they just income king.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, frankly, counterattack doesn't look terrible here either. You can full send either of these players, and if they don't hit their relevant upgrades, they're going to leak full.
We almost had a leak there. We get quadruple Robert coming out from Wackle, only income from Turnix Theus. So let's see if there are any Creditor pickups. We do have Pakistan and the fake one hovering around that gold threshold, where they may be feeling the Creditor, but we'll have to see.
Spicy.
Yeah, there we go.
Counterattack
Pakistan does
from
pick it up with the hardened column as well. I think that's a bit of a juicer. And fake one, he's taking it as well, but he's spending a decent amount. He's just shifting the 116, I think, which is fine.
Yeah. Don't hate this. Like the regen. I think I would have considered a full send versus Ternixius.
Yeah, not looking incredible, to be said. This 300 full
Trinity
send
Archers
against
is-
the fake one is going to get some damage done, I think.
Yeah, that was a good call. Like I said, counterattack looked pretty
Oh, wait.
good. And
Um,
Pakistan Arceus,
okay, I didn't see that one
Awesome.
coming. I didn't see the 97%
Holy
against Cannoneer Snails from Pakistan. He's
yeah, I get, Gatling Gun is actually not very good. Past Wave 7, or really Wave 8. The upgrade, however, there's a lot of value in it, so I could see perhaps maybe these guns are just not doing the DPS that he needs to follow up on his hardened golem there.
yeah.
Um,
And now they're just absolutely miles ahead on the side of the pre-round workout, right? This has gone from an even game to a crushing defeat in a single wave.
yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. I do like that counterattack call. Obviously, you could have gotten really punished if, for example, they had sorcerer targets from the chaos roll, or if they just took the tax blounce or even counterattack and just kind of income kings. But punish the greedy play. Super correct, it turns out. And now we're in this game state.
Yeah. It's a shame because they were playing pretty well up until that point on wave 11, I think. Like, the game was very, very even. And, now the pre-round are just leagues ahead, it seems.
Yeah. Next target, probably pretty reasonable to say 14 or 15.
Yeah, I could definitely see a 14, especially against Wackle. He doesn't look great there at all.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wackle is plus 150 right now. Not really sure who that's unfortunate for, but there is also double Trinity Archer. So definitely curious to see where this one takes us.
Yeah.
Wackle doing the double Grarl tech.
Pakistan not daring to fully shift for his Predator here. He only took 70 gold there instead of 180, so losing even more value here. So that credit's very much not worth it for the side of the worst polls. Clearly, it was disastrous on wave 11, and they didn't even get the full value from it on 13 as well. So things are going from bad to worse for the worst polls.
Yeah, I think it'll be 15, and that'll probably do it, unless a fake one I could see having some type of miracle hold, potentially.
You can never really underestimate the APS DK, right? Like, although
and he's got a
probably
dark
worse
page as well.
Without the split shot.
It's definitely worse, but there's a lot of value there to be had, and the sends are not enormous. They're certainly not enormous.
No. It's I don't think anybody would hazard that these players have pushed super hard in this game.
Would never dare to guess that. But here come the sends, I assume.
Yeah, there's a Needler. Fake one. Kraken's looking pretty good from Pakistan.
Kraken. Yeah,
there it is. There it is. Likewise, we have.
Don't mind Kraken. Wouldn't have minded. I don't think Double Witch was terrible.
Yeah, Double Witch would have been nice as well.
Pakistan actually can't afford his Hades. Surprise Hades.
Now, Fake One did roll Sandbadger, but he's opting to go for Mudmen and a Buckler instead.
Not sure I would have done that personally. No. Ooh, this is good though. He's giving the Kraken to the right. I don't mind that.
Giga Beast.
Yeah.
We do have a full Hades.
I wonder if
well.
their line was actually. Wow. I wonder if their line was income. I don't know.
Maybe, right?
Very, very curious scenario. Yeah.
All right. Let's keep eyes on this. This is very important now for the side of the worst polls. The Thanatos does die very quickly, so that's a lot of lost value straight away. But still, it's a Hades. Still, it's a. Okay, no, he doesn't have an Ocean Templar for his Canopy Circle. Never mind.
Ooh, the Dread Knight has been targeted.
The main body is going down. Yeah, that is not going to be a hold for the Fake One. We do have a Dead Needler here. but
He's
it's just not
leaking
enough.
just barely.
It's not enough.
Uh,
Pakistan
very
did very
close.
well here, very well, but
yeah, shockingly well.
Yeah.
What was he saying? Oh, that's why. But that'll do it.
yeah, we'll do it.
And the good guys win again.
That is a 2-1 for the side of the pre-round workout, and the worst polls, sadly, will not be making it through to the semi-finals tomorrow. So they put up a valiant effort, kid. It has to be said. They did. They certainly tried their best. I think they can be proud of their performance here. They are first-time Nova contestants, after all. So, you know, you expect things to be a little bit rocky, but they made it through to the last match of the day, and that they turned into a best of 3. So I think they can be happy with their performance, and I would love to see those players back again in future Nova Cups to see if they can turn their tides around. But
Yeah.
that is the last game that we have on the stream today, and we're going to have some juicy semi-final action coming up tomorrow. Kidius, what do you think about the matchups tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Didn't get the chance to catch Ram Pum Pum versus Jackpot, but I heard that was an excellent matchup. Aberstiert, as always, they look pretty good, and Barna Skiren, or however you say that, is always a delight to watch. I think that they're probably playing the best Legion right now.
Yeah.
Joshir obviously is a perennial contender, and Lucy is a very deserved rank 1 right now. She's been playing out of her mind.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So that should be pretty
I
exciting
think-
games. Pretty exciting games in the
Yeah, I
semis
think-
tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be crazy. Maybe if I can figure out my webcam, we'll have a little 3-way of you, me, and Afna.
Oh boy, that is going to be a treat for the viewers and the casters alike.
Yeah, there's
Cannot
nothing like 3/4 of the Potato Bros.
Yeah, that's going to be an absolute juicer. Okay, so guys, I think that's about all we have time for on the stream today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I certainly have. And a massive thank you for Kidius K III for joining me on the cast here. It's been an absolute pleasure, my dude. I hope you've enjoyed it as well.
It's always a blast.
Always a blast. All right, Twitch chat, make sure whatever you do, you are here for the semi-finals tomorrow. We're starting at the same time. We should have some absolute juicer games. And as Kidius said, we will be having Offma to join the pair of us back again tomorrow for a very exciting 3-way cast. I'm looking forward